So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3 of the British Championship 2018, our Pro-Am competition. I'm Ian Waddington, and as always, Eddie Power joins me in the tower. Eddie, we just see a heated qualifying session for our top 32.
Well,
these Pro-Am guys are going hard today.
Yeah, we asked the drivers to step it up and show us why they belonged in the Pro-Am competition of BDC, and you know what? They did just that, Ian. Phenomenal. Straight from the off, Stephen McConnell, a newcomer to the championship, and he set a score in the 72 on his first run. Incredible stuff. The scores just built from there. It was heated.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's lined us up now for an unbelievable top 32. But before we get into that, we're just going to quickly go down and see my mate Nathan, who's having a chat with Lee Scott, your championship title holder at the moment.
Yep, I am down here in the pits, and we're having a chat with a couple of the drivers, and I've come across my old pals. It's Lee Scott, who we had a chat with back at BDC Round 1. Now, Lee, we'll have a little chat now. If you can speak clearly for me, I know we've got a little bit of a language barrier, so just make it nice and clear. BDC Round 1, smashed it first. BDC Round 2, smashed it. IDC Rounds 1 and 2, first place. Then, a little bit of a mishap in Round 3 a couple of weeks ago. Your wheel wasn't screwed on correctly. It's come rearing off. What's going to change here today? Is it going to be 3 for 3? And have you screwed that wheel on tighter than you did last time?
Yeah, I say, went out yesterday, Friday practice, all was going good. Had 2 or 3 real good runs, and same again as round 2 BDC. My drive shafts keep breaking on the car, so went to Glasgow about an hour drive away and got shafts sorted, so worked late last night. Car seems to be working perfect this morning, so qualifying now, and just hope for the best and nothing breaks and take it from there just.
So from what I can gather, you're feeling confident, you're raring to go, the wheel's on tighter than it's ever been before, and as far as you're concerned, it's going to be 3 for 3 here in Scotland. Are you excited? Are you ready? And you're going to win?
Yeah, really buzzing. Like, Driftland is a great track. I wanted to do it last year, but the car wasn't ready in time, so right now I'm push hard. To say, there's a lot of other good drivers, Ryan Cadwell and all, are all fighting for the championship, but I've got quite a good lead at the minute, and I want to try and keep it that way, so touch wood, the car stays that way, and we can push hard.
Well, you got my vote. Lee Scott, taking in for 3 for 3, hopefully here in Scotland. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Nathan. And a very, very confident looking Lee Scott.
Yeah, and the man that gets lost in his own reflection, Nathan Black, once again. So there we go. Lee Scott, though, has been looking so phenomenal this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's been flying all year, but right now Ryan Caldwell stepped in his way and took first place in qualifying. But a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of guys wondering why scores weren't as high as what they were. They're phenomenal runs. So we're going to go to Dave Egan quickly for a quick chat on why those scores weren't pipping high in the 80s. Dave.
Thanks, Ian. Okay, so just to explain exactly what's happening, obviously we're watching every run, and the criteria we've set in briefing is quite specific. What sometimes can look like a good run, sometimes technically doesn't hit all the marks that we want. And also you've got to remember that a lot of the guys like yourselves, Ian and Eddie, watching it from a live stream perspective, I think in this particular instance, the judges where we are have a better view of that first corner than the live stream. Now, essentially, we're looking for an attack on the first corner, and where a lot of guys are making mistakes is not only from 1 to 2, but it's just after clipping zone 2. We don't want the guys riding the inside curve with the front wheel. We want them out on the track, because essentially, in a battle, that'll pin the chase car very, very close into the corner and give him very little options, or he'll have to back off. And that's why a lot of guys who looked very good on track were actually making a mistake. What I've actually suggested to some of the drivers is stay a little bit later after clip 2. A lot of drivers getting to clip 2 and thinking, when I have the job done, I'll shoot straight for the corner. But if you stay a little bit later on clip 2, you leave a little bit of room for the chase car, and we're rewarding that much higher. Again, another big area where they're making mistakes is the last corner. It's not the most difficult, but what we're noticing is the biggest mistakes are coming from that in transition on the infield of the track. And transitioning too early, and essentially having not enough legs to pull out to the outer line on the outside and get up to the wall. So they're sort of shooting towards the wall rather on that outside line. That's where a lot of the guys who you would expect to be scoring very highly started creeping away from some of the top positions. And we were saying, you know, up until certain areas they might have been in the 80s, but they were losing some scores there. So that's what made it very tight, and we saw some mistakes also. So we're expecting now that these guys will have been informed by the spotters for that, improve their line, and essentially we want to see them run a very good lead run, and we'll be watching for that right throughout from the lead position. Is it a chaseable lead run? And that's where we switch from qualifying to twin battles. We are watching that. Are they pinning the chase car into awkward positions? So we'll basically be able to explain that to you as the day goes on, and every time we make a decision, of course, here in BDC, we will explain it from our perspective so you guys can get educated as the day goes on.
Thanks, Dave. So there you go.
Quite interestingly, something that you
Yeah.
had alluded to earlier on yourself, Ian,
Exactly.
about that second clipping zone coming off it just that little bit too early. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the judges would have had a chance to talk to some of the drivers. Will we see some drivers just holding out that little bit? Obviously, we want to see some close battles, and that little bit of a wider line will make it easier for the chase driver.
Exactly. So, Eddie, it does look like we have the first battle down there on our grid, ready to rock and roll, and it will be Ryan Caldwell to take on Justin Griffiths. For a spot in top 16 awaits. Can Ryan Caldwell take top step in qualifying, and can he now use that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, look, you talk about a daunting task here for Justin Griffiths coming up against top qualifier Ryan Caldwell, a man who has been so impressive and who's looking to really put himself right in the hunt for a championship here this weekend. 1J underneath the bonnet of the vehicle for Justin Griffiths. It's the tennis coach's 400 brake horsepower Rocket Bunny S13, and coming up against this monstrous, absolutely monstrous S15 of Ryan Caldwell, and you have to say, really going to have to pull something special out of the bag here if he wants to progress into the top 16, as Caldwell has just looked phenomenal, and we know how good he is in the battle format.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, we know Caldwell. He is special. He's not to be messed with. But right now, like you say, Eddie, Justin Griffiths has a task and a half on his hands if he's going to continue into top 16 and make this a dream weekend for himself.
But you know what? What better way to start your charge than to take down one of the biggest names in the sport and the highest qualifier? The man to beat is Caldwell. What can Justin Griffiths do here as they release for the line for our first battle in the top 32?
Yeah, as Caldwell fires that car to the wall. Very, very nice line from Caldwell. Griffiths just comes offline ever so slightly and straight lines massively. Justin Griffiths drops wheels over the edge of the circuit.
Yeah, and dropping a lot of ground here as well, Ian, as Caldwell, as you say, puts foot to the floor and starts to build that gap.
Yeah.
And very difficult for someone who's qualifying down the order to follow that fast, fluid line of some of these guys who are just really nailing the circuit and so comfortable behind the wheel. And Caldwell, a real talent for the future. Griffiths really going to have to step up his game. He's going to be in the chase position now when we switch it around, probably knowing that he's had a little bit of a deficit here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, listen, Caldwell was so dominant in that half of the battle and in a lead position as well, and he's not the strongest place to be. And for me, Caldwell doing everything he can do. So this swaps him around now. It will be Justin Griffiths to lead out Ryan Caldwell. You can see a lead car starting. And look at that from Caldwell, almost tagged Justin Griffiths in the rear.
I think Caldwell having to back out a little bit, maybe expecting Griffiths to be just a little bit quicker. But look at this, I mean, a show of expertise in how to chase. Oh, but a big straighten from Caldwell. I'm just wondering though, Ian, was that caused perhaps by the slower car in front of him? Judges will take things like that into consideration. Griffiths takes it out to the wall and they cross the line, guys. Make some noise for your two drivers, Ryan Caldwell, Justin Griffiths, as the judges look for a replay.
Yeah, Justin Griffiths way offline.
Way offline. And
slowed down massively before the first clipping point on the wall. And you can see completely messed up Ryan Caldwell. You know, naturally Ryan Caldwell carrying the same consistent speed all weekend. Not going to be used to slowing down. We know he's a very talented chase driver and he adapted very, very well behind Justin Griffiths as Caldwell. You know, a masterclass in chase driving there, that guy. Phenomenal. Only 16 years old, Eddie.
Yeah, real talent. And here the judges' scores come in. Who's going through? Will it be Griffiths? Will it be Caldwell? Slide him left for Griffiths, right for Caldwell. Kieran, David and Ben all in favour of your winner going through to the top 16, Ryan Caldwell. We go back to the judges. Pretty easy decision over the course of the two runs, but Ryan Caldwell takes it through.
Yeah, it all really hinged on the first run there with Justin making a massive error just after clip 2, and he dropped 2 wheels as he head down to 3, and then he had to cut the track to try and gain back proximity, which he never really got. So it was like a massive 8-2, nearly 9-1 to Ryan's first one. And the second one, Justin's line wasn't great, but again, Ryan did a great job chasing.
So on the line, Steve McConnell to take on Cole Farrar. Cole Farrar looking very, very strong in qualifying earlier. 2 70-point scores, if you remember rightly what me and Eddie were saying. A guy that's consistent is a hard guy to beat right now. So you know what, for me, Cole Farrar will be sitting in that car feeling very, very confident. But like you said, Eddie, Steve McConnell.
When you look at the weight of having to come out as the very first qualifier to put in a 70 in your first event in the BDC, hunting down that BDC Pro-Am license, and right now, Ian, comes a little bit shallow from 1 to 2, but pulls a bit of a gap on Carl Farrar, who has a little bit of a waiver in the chase position.
Yeah, Cole Farrar looks like he's panicking a little bit. He expected maybe McConnell to not be as fast as what he is right now, but Farrar starts applying the pressure as they transition into clipping point for McConnell on that very, very nice line. It does exactly what Dave Egan was saying. Nice and wide, takes it to the wall, but Farrar right on the rear quarter of that E36.
Yeah, gets that proximity right at the end there, Ian, but struggled really to bring the fight, I suppose, throughout the whole circuit. Now, will the judges take into account the line that McConnell took from clip 1 to 2? That's where it looked as though, you know, he came off that outer line, but we switched them around. Farrar to lead them in this time around. What can McConnell do? I mean, he has looked so consistent here, and very impressive for a man only driving 2 years competing in drifting, and this car will be driven home. You can see the reg plate on the car as well, so you know he'll be hoping not to do too much damage, but it's all about taking home silverware here at the moment.
Oh, look at this from Steve McConnell though, Eddie. Look at this, not scared of Cole Farrar. Oh, as Cole Farrar flies in, that big error there from McConnell, straightens again
Yeah,
hugely.
McConnell unable to keep that momentum and causing him to make that error, as you say, Ian. And can he bring the fight though towards the end? Looking very good now in the second half of this run, as Farrar just not getting out to those wider lines and causing McConnell to have a slight straight in there. So, you know, not clear cut over the course of the 2 runs, and I think McConnell certainly him with a shout to take it through to the top 16.
Yeah, exactly. Not clear cut, that's for sure. As we await for our score to drop in from our judges. So just having a bit of a discussion about this one. Or
yeah,
judges.
and I think
maybe,
you know a few little bits in that one, Ian.
Listen,
it wasn't as
definitely
we say.
some bits we may have missed, Eddie, there.
And I think what they're going to be looking at is the
McConnell's line,
McConnell's line on
Farrar,
chasing,
yeah.
exactly, and then the few errors from Farrar at the end of that second run as well. So, and then obviously you got to take into account the distance, the gap between the 2 drivers on the first run. So there, you know, it certainly wasn't a clear cut. They will weigh up lead run versus lead run and chase run versus chase run as well, and it looks as though
so
they
scores drop in.
Scores dropping in.
Left for Farrar, right for Connell. Who's going to take it through to the top 16 to battle Ryan Caldwell? And there you go, unanimous. Cole Farrar gets the win, ladies and gentlemen, and advances through top 16. We go to our judges. Not an easy one to break down.
That's right. And to be fair, the lead line for Steve. Oh, there we are. Sorry. So the lead line from Stephen wasn't fantastic. There wasn't a massive amount of proximity there from Carl. But then in the reverse order, Carl had a much better lead line, and Stephen came in too aggressive. He was offline, cutting the track, and having to try and make the ground back up. And we went in his favour.
So there you go, Eddie. Farrar getting the win, going through to battle Ryan Caldwell. We move it along to our next battle of the day. It will be James Island versus Neregis. 300 horsepower taking down 500 horsepower. And both of these guys...
I don't think there's any James Ireland fans here today. Just
No, I think you're wrong, Eddie. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a few. Just
maybe
a few.
1 or 2.
Just 1 or 2. Well, they're on the line, ready to go. And as my mate Nathan would say, the blue car possibly going to get the win.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely going to be a blue car in the top 16. And who's it going to be, though? Is it going to be James Ireland? Is it going to be Neregis? As they throw it into that first corner. Nice wide line from James Ireland. But look at this, Neregis right there with him, showing that aggressive nature of his and making that dive now down to the inside. Can he get some closer proximity? But just seems to be getting caught a little bit as James Ireland starts to turn the screw, put foot to floor. But now look, Neregis is coming back into it as Ireland drops a couple of wheels as they take it out to the wall. And you know what? It's a little bit tit for tat there, Ian.
Yeah, listen, not a clear-cut battle, like you say. Very, very nice line from James Island as he come off of the wall on initiation. Just dropped a wheel here and there. Good line through 2 into 3. But Neregis bringing that heat, you know, not getting too close, not on the door like we'd like to see him, but just keeping back ever so slightly. But this is where James Island now could fall back a little bit. We know Neregis got 500 horsepower, very grippy car. Is he going to pull away, or can James Island, you know, get on the door and overturn maybe a small deficit?
Well, look, this guy qualified in 8th position, so certainly has the ability. Can he keep the flow? Can he keep this car on angle, on speed? A bit of a gap opens up, but can he bring in a big dive now to deviate from the line?
Oh, look at this from James Island. Absolutely fires that E36 on the door of Neregis. R33 as Neregis now stands on the accelerator and starts to pedal away. But look at this. James Island is hungry for a place in top 16. Can Neregis hold him off?
He needs to close the gap here, Ian, as they come through the final sections, because you know what? I think Neregis has done enough in that second run. James Ireland doing a really good job getting that proximity, but from 1 to 2, he really sacrificed a lot of line.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't think the supporters of James Ireland could take it if he makes it through to top 16, so they might melt down They'll have no voices left.
Certainly, definitely won't have any voices left. They'd be no good as commentators, that's for sure.
And there's some fans there from Nerejus for sure. So judges' decisions dropping him.
Yeah, just discussing this one a little bit further, Ian, and drivers are going to have to wait just a moment longer for the result of this one. A spot in the top 16 up for grabs. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Ireland? Is it going to be Nerejus Voluskovic?
Slow slide on left for Nerejus, right for James Ireland. Kieran, David and Ben is unanimous. Nerejus gets the win and advances through to top 16. Unfortunately, James Ireland bows out competition. Judges, a very, very good battle there, and a brave dive from James Ireland.
Yeah, brave, but unfortunately not going to earn him any kudos with us. The first run, really excellent lead run from Ireland. If he'd done that in the qualifying, he mightn't be in this position. Narias, very good proximity throughout the run, fantastic. Second run, how it comes down to that first corner, and in fact it comes down to before the first corner, because Ireland, he ended up he sort of fell asleep on the start line. He let Narias away from him, and at that point he knew he had to cut the track massively. He's almost on the inside of the track, which is about 25 feet off line. He gets it back into it, and from that point it's kind of evened out, but the mistake was on the way up to the first corner. He'll kick himself for that because he had what it took, but very impressive performance from Narias there.
So there we go, and Narias or Nerejus making his way through top 16, and we move it along. Battles coming thick and fast. Lewis Mitchell are now to take on Blaine Rafferty. 560 horsepower to take on 200, Eddie.
Yeah, Blaine
S14.
Rafferty giving away, over less than half the horsepower of Lewis Mitchell. But you know what? It doesn't always count for everything. It's about how your ability to steer the car as well. And we are set to go. Mitchell to lead in Rafferty. Who's going to take it through? Mitchell a little bit slow to leave the line. Look at this, Rafferty right up door to door, side by side as they come down that straight. And Blaine Rafferty, looking for the overtake, way offline here, Ian.
Yeah, Blaine Rafferty way offline. Gets the proximity now as he makes a dive into clipping point 3, but he has bled a lot of points to Mitchell, and Mitchell looks absolutely nailed out front. Looking good on a good line. A big dive again there from Blaine Rafferty. He's on the inside of the circuit, Eddie. This is not what the judges wanted to see.
No, hand out the window from Blaine Rafferty as they cross the line. I wonder will the judges just have a quick look back at the start line. It did appear to me as though Mitchell might have been quite slow off the line, because Rafferty certainly had the jump on him. And they were side by side as they came down the straight in. And I think that's what caused all those issues for Rafferty in the first corner. It looks as though we've switched them around. They're ready to start the second half of the battle, where Rafferty will now lead them in. And of course, the higher qualifier leads on the first run, and then they switch around with the lower qualifier taking the lead position for the second half of the battle.
So we are just waiting to get those guys off the line. As you can see, Blaine Rafferty eager to get away as he almost makes a jump off the line. Rafferty to lead in Mitchell, as now Mitchell gives Blaine Rafferty some room, now fires the car in, but way offline is Lewis Mitchell. Rafferty manages to get out to clipping point 2, sacrificing some line on the way though.
Yeah, and you can just see those guys getting over onto that red and blue curb section of the track. Not where they want to be, but look at the aggression here from Lewis Mitchell as he brings it to the door of Rafferty and tries to turn the screw and force an error here through the final sections of the circuit, but nice wide line and a slight error just before crossing the line from Blaine Rafferty also, Ian.
Yeah, not the neatest of lead runs there from Blaine Rafferty, so we'll see what way the judges want to go with this one. Judges just talking about that one.
Yeah, and you can see Malx, our start line marshal, just getting ready to give those guys the result. It'll feed through from our backroom staff. So, of course, very technical setup that we have here. It's they all import the decisions into a little PC. It goes down into our live stream truck, and here we go. Who's going to be Blaine Rafferty, Lewis Mitchell? Slide him left for Rafferty, right for Mitchell. Kieran, David and Ben all in favour of your winner, Lewis Mitchell. Lewis Mitchell moves into the top 16. We go to the judges for an explanation.
The first run there, Lewis, the only error he made actually in the lead position was he just dropped the wheel there coming out to clip 4. But Blaine, his initiation was not great, and it put him on the inside of the track, and he was completely on the inside of the track for the first corner. So even though he had proximity, he was way offline doing it. So that's not really going to score you any points, not from us anyway. So after the first run, Lewis is on a 6-4 advantage, and the second one there, Blaine in the lead position, okay lead line, especially through the first half of it. He had a little error there at the very end, but Lewis just did enough to take a slight advantage on the second one too. So for both runs it was Lewis for us.
So there you go. Lewis Mitchell taking the winner going through. We move it along to two heavy hitters making their way to the line. Eddie, this one's going to be a tough battle. Alexis Drew to take on Tomas Falvey.
Yeah, looking at this one, there's not a whole lot in it. The stats are on your screen if you're watching at home, but for you guys in attendance, R34, S15, 500 brake horsepower, 550 brake horsepower. There's the numbers. These two guys on the line ready to go. What I can tell you is that Alexis Drew qualified in 4th position. Tomas Falvey down the order in 29th. Is that going to be the difference maker? Will the higher qualifier take a tour? Can Tomas Falvey bring the Irish fight and bring some silverware home? Here we go for Falvey's on the door of Alexis Drew as they throw it through the first corner in.
Yeah, look at the line from Alexis Drew, Eddie, as he absolutely nails this qualifying line. But look at Tomas Falvey now, starts to bring the proximity. Nice little dive there from Falvey.
Yeah, just has to back off a little bit though as Alexis Drew reproduces that strong qualifying line that he was doing all morning. But Tomas just drops off towards the end and getting a little bit caught, I think, down at the teardrop section in.
Yeah.
And from that point on, not able to regain that proximity, but this one still wide open in terms of who's going to go through.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, little error there from Tomas Falvey, made a dive, had to shut the car down and completely missed clipping point 4. So judges are going to be looking that he cut the line to gain proximity again. A very, very good run there from Alexis Drew. We swapped him around. It will be now Falvey to lead out Drew for a place in top 16. As they make their way off the line. Drift Games versus G3 Pro. And look at this, Alexis Drew giving Falvey some room as they fire it onto the wall.
Yeah, he needs to really...
Oh, and Falvey's DV'd a tyre.
But he keeps in it.
Falvey's got way
and
off track.
there he goes.
Yeah, Falvey.
Lucky to get away with that as lightly as he did, Ian, because that's a treacherous section of the circuit.
Very, very lucky.
Yeah, what a bad place to DB the tyre, and Falvey.
Such a shame. It looked like this was going to be such a close
Yeah,
battle.
that was going to be a real war up until that point,
just-
and Falvey was on a really good line as well.
Can we see a replay of the initiation? I'm pretty sure as soon as Falvey threw their car against the wall, it just DB'd it, and that was it. He drove from clipping point 1 to 2 on a DB'd tyre. I mean, give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Tomas Falvey out here risking everything for your entertainment. And Alexis Drew, Eddie, I mean, we need to make it official from our judges, but Alexis Drew gifted.
Do you know what?
A
Gifted,
place.
however, he is carrying serious speed through this circuit, and I think definitely a contender when we get to the closing ceremonies later on this afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there. We just make it official. Kieran David and Ben, all in favour of your winner, Alexis Drew. No need to go to the judges for that one. A DB tyre and off-track 4 wheels for Tomas Falvey. The end of his weekend, unfortunately. And but you know what? Alexis Drew moves on into the next segment of competition. I'm very excited to see what he produces in his next
he's got
battle.
an incredible driving style at the moment. Ryan Cooper up next to take on William Hanna.
Yes, these two guys ready to go on the line, and you know, very hard to pick a winner in this one. Cooper qualifying in 13th position. He will have the lead in the first half of the battle. William Hanna, though, qualifying down the order in 20th position. But you know what? Battles are where a lot of drivers really shine.
Yeah, exactly. So Ryan Cooper comes off the line in lead position. William Hanna to give chase. As Cooper fires it in way off the wall, but drops wheels.
Yeah, dropping a lot of wheels and a very late entry there from William Hanna.
Oh, Willie Hanna gets it wrong, dropping the front wheel over that blue and red curb in and out. As Cooper now starts to pull away, Willie Hanna making big sacrifices to line to gain proximity. As Cooper stands on the accelerator and drives across the line.
Yeah, maybe not the best run of the day from William Hanna, and not what he would have been wanting coming out of the traps, and I think handing a massive advantage here to Ryan Cooper. But let's not forget a number of wheels off circuit between clip 1 and 2, Ian, and the judges will pay close attention to that.
Exactly. So we've swapped him around. It will be Cooper now to chase down William Hanna. And
So,
judges want to see a replay, Eddie, of the first corner. Want to see where it all went wrong for Ryan Cooper, potentially. As you rightly say, Eddie, wheels dropped. Look at that.
A massive.
Very, very lucky.
Yeah, certainly 2 wheels off, and just see a very straight line, very late initiation from William Hanna.
Hanna managing, though, to keep it on track, and straight lines.
Yeah, I wonder, does he get a little bit put off by the line then of...
or the smoke, did he get lost in the smoke from Ryan Cooper's car?
Yeah, certainly those 2 factors could have been at play there.
So those guys on the line are ready to go. Judges still deliberating.
Yeah, still discussing that one, so it's going to be an interesting talking point.
Don't forget, this is just our Pro-Am competition today. If you are interested in coming down, get down here. Tomorrow, tickets on the gate at £20 each. Pro competition, Eddie. Big screen in attendance. You can't miss it. Sun's going to be out. These guys, we just watched them in practice not long ago, absolutely smashing it. So tomorrow, looking good, but off the line, we have William Hanna to take on Ryan Cooper. And Cooper chasing William Hanna down. And Cooper, big goal! As Cooper absolutely showers the judging tower with stones. Ryan Cooper now gets back into the fight as William Hanna on a really good line. Oh, and an error there from Cooper again as William Hanna finishes that run off. And Eddie Power takes a huge rock to the head in the judging tower, courtesy of Ryan Cooper.
Apologies for all the microphone interference there. Destroyed in the head there with it. But anyway, get on with it.
So
there's no blood, so
there's no blood. You're all right.
I'm all right.
You're going to be all right, Eddie.
Yeah.
We might need a stand-in commentator for tomorrow if Eddie can't make it through.
I'm not giving him the opportunity.
So a quick replay here for our judges. Look at this as Willie Hanna fires it in. Cooper gets it way wrong, and
there's the stone
at
that
this
hits me.
moment, yeah, you could just see a cloud of stones get fired into the air. Willie Hanna not looking too strong out front though. Doesn't look like that car's 110%. Cooper gets back into the fight, but after this transition, you can see another big error from Cooper. Look, over-rotates almost, gets himself on the inside of the track, has to straighten and reinitiate. Scrappy from Cooper. Not sure what way this is going to go, if I'm honest with you, Eddie.
No, it certainly was a scrappy affair over the course of the two runs, and be interesting just to hear from the judges, you know, the what helped them make the decision, because it was kind of a case of who made the least mistakes.
The least errors. Yeah, exactly. So.
And fair play to you for keeping the ball rolling despite being under fire.
I was under the table at the point commentating, just looking up at the monitor.
A closet commentator.
Doing it for the entertainment. So, who's going to take it through? William Hanna on the left, Cooper on the right, Kieran, David and Ben. And it's unanimous, ladies and gentlemen. Willie Hanna gets the win. Ryan Cooper bows out competition. Judges, you still alive over there? You good still?
Yeah, it's an interesting tactic by Ryan Cooper there to try and kill all the judges while we're looking at the run. So it didn't work out for him though, unfortunately. Look, on the first run, Cooper has 2 wheels off. Now, it's not great, but Hanna has a pretty bad chase. He doesn't really get affected by Cooper's lead line there. He's just on the middle of the track. He's got no proximity. Just no proximity throughout the whole run, so nothing special. Actually leaned a little bit towards Cooper on the first run, even though he had 2 wheels off. Hanna's chase run was pretty bad. Switches around though onto the second run. Hanna does a good lead run. Cooper again drops 2 wheels off, hits the gravel. He straightens though massively coming towards the finish line and hits a huge error. In fact, the biggest of the contest. So I went the other way, 8-2 towards Hanna. So Hanna taking the win over both runs with a strong lead in the second half.
So there you go. Killing the judges, Eddie, gets you no points.
Leave the stones alone if you want to get through. So unfortunately, though, Ryan Cooper bows out of competition. William Hanna, though, moving on, and it just goes to show qualification doesn't always mean act as a real guide for who's going to go through in the competition. We move it on to Ricky Lawrence and Neil Bamford in a very interesting battle, and 2 fantastically well represented and presented cars.
Yeah, 2 very, very good, well-presented cars, like you say. 2 very good drivers, but Ricky Lawrence looking the stronger driver here. A regular at Driftland. As they come off the line, Ricky Lawrence to lead out Neil Bamford. As look at Ricky Lawrence, absolutely nails the back of that PS13 to the wall on a good line, but Bamford just drops down the circuit. Ricky Lawrence, though, looking scrappy as he comes into 3, and Bamford struggling to chase Ricky Lawrence right now.
Yeah, really big error there from Neil Bamford in, and you know what, Ricky Lawrence looking good for a spot in the top 16 here. And you know what, at home advantage, that comfortableness and the knowledge of the track really serving Ricky Lawrence here this weekend.
Yeah, judges wanted to see a replay of this one. As you can see, Ricky Lawrence firing that car in. Bamford giving Lawrence some room. And Lawrence not on the best line, but makes it through. But this is where it all kind of goes wrong. Look, you could just see how much Ricky Lawrence slowed down coming into clipping point 3. Gets back into it, but by this point, Neil Bamford's lost all momentum and has to really consider what he's doing. Oh, and so we're just being given some hand signals, Eddie, and it looks like it will be a 10-0 advantage to Ricky Lawrence.
Wow.
For the first half of the battle. So Neil Bamford now in the lead position, not the best place to be, but he needs to make it happen now and try and overturn the deficit.
Yeah, I mean, look, he needs one of two things to happen. Well, 4 wheels off track, spin, and it's actually one of the 3. The third one being an inactive chase run from Ricky Lawrence. But Ricky doing a good job here, just keeping himself at a steady pace, steady distance away from Neil Bamford. As Bamford doing a nice job out in that lead position, but can he force the error from the front is the question, as Lawrence looks to close that gap now and bring the proximity through the final sections of the circuit. And as they cross the line, Driftland makes some noise for Neil Bamford and Ricky Lawrence.
Yeah, very, very good lead run there from Neil Bamford, but like we say, a 10-0 deficit, not looking like it could be overturned, Eddie, as the decision comes in. Left for Bamford, right for Lawrence, and Kieran, David and Ben all go. Ricky Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, getting the win. Neil Bamford out of competition. And listen, no need to go to the judges for that one, Eddie. A big straight and almost an over-rotation at the bottom of the circuit there. Ricky Lawrence getting the win and making it through.
Yes, but we move on to a very important battle in terms of the championship. Alistair Sutton now qualifying down the order in 12th position. He is going up against Fraser Jameson.
Yeah, Fraser Jameson are going to be looking to take down Alistair Sutton. These guys battled hard last year in the 2017 Drift Cup Championship, which is the feeder series to the BDC. So these guys know each other very well. 2 very well-matched cars, 2 very good drivers.
And you know what? I love to see this because you know that it's going to be driver talent versus driver talent. This isn't about machinery. This is about total ability and composure. Who can take it through? Look at this, though. Sutton nailing that outer line.
Yeah, but look at this. Here comes Fraser Jameson
yeah,
now.
Starting to turn the screw
dive.
by the brain. Oh, do they make contact?
Almost contact from Fraser Jameson.
But they get back on it, Neil.
Yeah, Fraser Jameson, though, looks a little bit shook, Eddie. He needs to get himself back in the game. Alistair Sutton, cool, calm and collected out front like he's been all season.
Yeah, look, doesn't sit second in the championship for no reason, and you know, not a fun place to get a little bit of a love tap on your rear quarter. Very sketchy section of the circuit, and managing to you know, just readjust, keep himself in the fight, and keep going. And 2 very capable drivers showing their ability, and whew, that one got a little bit etchy there.
That one got a little bit close. So we stopped him around the back of the line. It will be Fraser Jameson now to lead out Sutton. Can Alistair Sutton put it on the door of Fraser Jameson? Like I say, these guys, good friends, know each other for a long time, battled hard before. As they come off the line, Fraser Jameson's
You can just see though,
yes,
Sutton hunting him down already, Ian, but loses a little bit of ground. Can he gain it back here?
Yes.
As Jameson takes it out to that second zone, but now Sutton starts to make the dive down the inside. Can he go to the door?
Sutton looking for the door of Fraser Jameson's E36 as Jameson throws a nice angle. Look at that, Sutton. Perfect transition, not door on door like we like to see. But Fraser Jameson in that lead position got it absolutely now. Give him a round of applause.
Tags the wall as he crosses the line. Sutton really struggling just with the pace to get up that hill. Ooh.
So, as they give a thumbs up to our start line marshal, Melks.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way this one's going. Ian,
No,
definitely a close call.
You know, for me, the little mistake from Fraser Jameson could just be enough. As Jameson gets out of the car to shake the hand of Alistair Sutton. Like I say, these guys battled hard the past year or so. Decisions in. Who's going to take it? Sliding left for Fraser Jameson, right for Alistair Sutton. And Kieran, David and Ben go Alistair Sutton. Alistair Sutton gets the win and goes through. Judges, not an easy one to call there.
No, 2 very evenly matched cars as well. The biggest mistake of the whole run comes from Jameson on the first run. He makes a dive, but he straightens up, shuts down, and then he has to go right on the inside of the hairpin, which is completely the wrong line, and gets himself caught. From my perspective, over the 2 runs, I think Sutton does have some straightenings in his chase position, but nothing as major as the mistake Jameson made in the first run. So that was really what tided it over for the decision.
So there you go, that error from Jameson, just overturning it. We move it along.
Just overturned it, yeah. So we got to go to the second half of our top 32 bracket, which will see Jordan Boyce taking on Ross Barr. And don't let the figures on the screen fool you. Ross Barr does not have 190 brake horsepower. He's substantially more than that. But he is up against a man who has been very quick through the circuit. Second place qualifier, Jordan Boyce. This is a big challenge here now for Ross Barr. Can he pull it together? Of course, a brand new build, only getting used to this car here this weekend, and he's shaking the cobwebs off with a testing day, but first time in competitive action. Can he throw it in the door? Jordan Boyce, he certainly can. Look at this, for sheer aggression, Ian.
Yeah, Jordan Boyce just slightly offline there, and Ross Barr doing everything he can to adjust. Now Ross Barr way offline. He needs to just have a quick think of what he's doing now as Jordan Boyce starts accelerating away. Ross Barr jumps on the accelerator though and gets on the door.
And brings the fight door to door, side by side as they cross the line. What a finish to the run there from Ross Barr, really bringing it to Jordan Boyce.
Yeah, not an easy a lead car to chase there. An error from Jordan Boyce on clipping point 2 made it very, very difficult as they come through this first big corner down into clipping point 3. And judges, wanting to see what happened there from Ross Barr, as you can see. Nice initiation from Jordan Boyce, very, very fast. But look at this, way offline, drops down, completely misses clipping point 2. Now, as you can see, Ross Barr on the door, but just he's in the inside line. He's going to.
The question is, was he led in there? Was he allowed space to to take a proper line through the circuit? And I'm not sure if he was, but you know what, this one's certainly in the balance as they switch them around. Ross Barr needs to go out here and just nail that qualifying line, and if he does that, he goes through to the top 16.
Exactly. So off the line, Ross Barr chased down by Jordan Boyce. As Ross Barr absolutely flying, but look at this!
Oh, Jordan Boyce bringing the fight here.
Yeah, and look at this. Offline is Ross Barr. Jordan Boyce now starts to apply the pressure as they come into 3. Jordan Boyce just giving Ross Barr some room to move, and Barr slows it down, but Boyce gets caught up in the inside, Eddie.
Yeah, needs to bring this back because Ross Barr had the proximity through the final sections of the circuit. And you know what, for me, a man who wasn't feeling overly confident about this one, Ross Barr looks like he has given himself a real shot at a top 16 spot here. Certainly, two drivers, both in the chase position, showing serious aggression and hunting down the door of the lead driver.
Yeah, a very, very a good amount of aggression there from both guys. But you know what, both these guys not on the best lead line. So judges going to be looking at that and knocking points backwards and forwards. Be interested to see what the judges make of this one as scores now start to drop in.
I think they might, just deliberate over this one just a little bit. But yeah, it looks as though they have come to a decision as we await that decision in. I'm not sure. I'm really.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. This one could go either way. Decision is in from our judges.
And going through to the top 16, will it be Barr? Will it be Jordan? Boyce, Kieran, David, and Ben, all in favour of your winner, Ross Barr. Ross Barr moves into the top 16. Judges, a close battle between those two drivers. A few errors, though, over the course of the 2 runs.
Yeah, so let's just take the first run. Boyce is a poor lead run, not what we expected. He completely cuts the inside of the corner. In fact, he doesn't really give Barr any chance to chase. Barr's on the inside of the track, and Barr starts to make a mistake as they come past the clipping zone, or towards clipping zone 3. But he's been pinned in there by Boyce. Boyce is on the inside line. He's not on the outside line where he should be. It's not a chaseable lead run. So the advantage after the first run, even though Barr was making some errors, those were forced by Boyce being in the wrong place at the track. Second run, Boyce comes back into it. Barr isn't perfect, so there was mistakes on both sides. In fact, I kind of called the second run fairly even. There was a couple of mistakes either way, but the biggest error of all was the lead run from Boyce from clip 1 to 3 on the first run, just not giving Barr enough of an opportunity to get into the battle, and that's why we went for Ross Barr.
Thank you very much, Dave. And there you go, Ross Barr getting the win. Jordan Boyce, that guy always looks strong here, but you know what? A clink in the arm out there, Eddie, like we were saying earlier, just a little...
Well, you know what? A second place qualifier out of the competition. Now we are ready for our next battle, which will be, Davidas Petroskas against Stephen Halferty in a very interesting tie between a very powerful BMW E46 and a very underpowered BMW E36 Estate.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard-fought battle for Stephen Halferty right now. As we know, Davidas is absolutely flying. Look at this. As they fire it in, Davidas fails to get on that wide line, just picks up clipping point 2 there.
Yeah, but
Drops the
Halfordy
front
on a
wheels in.
very shallow line in and struggling just to bring the fight at all here.
Yeah. Look, for me, it looks like he's getting a little bit lost in the smoke there from Devidas, but Devidas way offline in the middle of the circuit there.
Yeah, the judges will take that into consideration. I mean, you can see he's crossing the line quite a long time ahead of Stephen Halfordy, but didn't take the correct qualifying line. Did he give the chase driver a line to follow? And obviously, if you're blinded by the smoke, but that driver was on a good qualifying line. I think it might even things up just that little bit more.
A little bit more, yeah, exactly. So we've swapped them around. It will be now Stephen Halfordy's time. Chance to lead in Devidas Petrokos.
I'm sure by the end of the day we'll have pronounced his surname.
I should be good at this.
Properly
I should
once.
Petrauskas, there we go. Being told it. I've been to Europe twice this year already and I still can't do it. Off the line, Halfordy to lead in Devidas. Devidas almost failing to initiate, way off line, and he completely skips clipping point 1 and 2. Is this down to the poor lead line though from Halfordy?
Look, a very difficult battle really to try and judge, I'd imagine, because neither driver giving a whole lot to work with, and big straightening there from Devidas. Could that be the deciding factor in this run?
Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, Devidas just struggled to chase behind the slower car of Stephen. Very, very difficult one for our judges to judge. But they've got to come to a decision, and they are inputting their scores.
I think I just overheard David Egan saying that's the biggest mistake of the run, so I think it could come down to what just happened on the second run. However, we're about to make that confirmed. Stephen Halfordy, Devidas Petroskas, who is going through, Kieran, David and Ben, all in favour of your winner, Stephen Halfordy. Judges, not an easy decision over the 2 runs, not a whole lot of good driving from the 2 drivers. Talk us through how you made your decision.
Yeah, the first one there, like Stephen makes a big error, but just past Nosier clip 2, he actually drags on the handbrake test to reinitiate. Huge mirror, so Devidas has a very big advantage after the first run. The second run, I think you've seen it just after clip 5, he shuts down completely, Devidas does, and that's a huge error altogether. It's even bigger than the first error that was made, so that's how Stephen gets it.
So there you go. Kieran Hines giving it the breakdown, and we move it along to the next battle on the line. It will be an all-Irish affair.
You've just taken the words right out of my mouth.
We work too much together, that's what he said.
Absolutely.
Andrew Earl to take on Damien Wilkinson. Now, Andrew Earl coming steaming into qualifying, 7th place. But Damien Wilkinson, don't forget, 3rd place on the podium at round 2 in Teesside. Can Wilkinson redeem his poor qualifying session and get himself back up the order? Well, Andrew Earl stands in his way right now as they come off the line.
Yeah, sorry, go on. No, but Andrew Earl has been on such really good form this morning, and he fires it through into that first section, but Wilkinson right there with him now. Can he? Wilkinson washing wide. Over-aggression from Damien Wilkinson as he tried to get on the door of Andrew Earl, and Andrew Earl now drops the wheel, but doing a nice job keeping this on that white qualifying line. And you know what? Damien Wilkinson could be kicking himself here, Ian.
Yeah, big error there from Damien Wilkinson as he dropped that wheel. Like you say, he just carried a little bit too much speed. It looked like he went for a dive, but wrong position, wrong part of the track to be making a dive. We've seen Sultan Al-Qasimi take his carbon fibre S15 way off circuit in that portion of the track. So, you know what, for me, like you say, Damien Wilkinson could be kicking himself right now. Andrew Earl going to be on the radio to his spotters, working out what is the best way to attack this now as he, look at that, 2 wheels off circuit.
Yeah, as you say,
potentially 3 wheels. See the front wheel of Wilkinson's car lift up, so did he drop 3 wheels over that white line?
He may well have done, and it is quite treacherous over that section of the course. As you say, Sultan Al-Qasimi dropping his carbon fibre S15 in there last year. He is back this weekend with a carbon Kevlar E92 BMW Eurofighter, and you'll get to see that tomorrow for our pro main event. And of course, we do have action on the track here this evening from 6:30 onwards. We will be running into the darkness with some special extra additional entertainment that we have for you guys. But now back to the start line for the second half of this battle. Damien Wilkinson, Andrew Earl, a space in the top 16 up for grabs, and I think both these drivers would love the opportunity.
Whoa.
But look at big gap opens up in. Oh, big angle from Damien Wilkinson.
Yeah, big speed there from Damien Wilkinson as he absolutely fired that car, and God knows how he held on to that one. But Andrew Earl now playing the catch-up game. Can Andrew Earl get back on the door? He starts to gain some proximity. He's going to need to make a dive through the smoke and apply it on the last turn. But Wilkinson looks absolutely on form in this lead run.
Yeah, has Wilkinson brought himself back into this one in? I think he may have. Is it enough is the question. But certainly doing everything he could do in that lead position.
I mean, he threw everything and the kitchen sink at that initiation. That was incredible from Damien Wilkinson. How he held on to that car, I don't even know. It looked like he was in the gravel before it even got there.
Yeah, showing just how capable a driver he is and why he was able to finish on the 3rd place in the podium at round 2. So, judge's decision is in. Wilkinson or Earl, who's going through to the top 16? I can tell you one of them is going to be from Ireland. And Kieran, David and Ben all in favour of Andrew Earl taking it through to the top 16. Damien Wilkinson bows out. Judges, very impressive stuff. Was it down to the mistake on the first run?
Yeah, that's right, Eddie. It all come down to the first run, really. Andrew Earl had a bit of an error cutting the hairpin, but Damien Wilkinson pushed wide, washed out from clip 2 towards 3, and we had advantage Andrew Earl. And then on that last run, as you can see, a massive error there by Damien Wilkinson at clip 1. It looked like he was going to spin, so Andrew backed out of it. Managed to get back on the power and continue with the run and get the proximity, so it was advantage Andrew Earl.
So there you go, Andrew Earl taking the winner going through top 16. We move it along. Oliver Bolton on the line to take on Ian Rutherford. 400 horsepower to take on 485. Supercharged V8 versus SR20. This is going to be a good one. Oliver Bolton, very, very good chase driver. Young gun, hungry for the win. But Ian Rutherford coming from Teesside, finishing way up in the order in the Grade 8. The guy was absolutely flying. Look at him, arm out the window, pumped, tapping the window. He's excited.
Look, the confidence is high on both these drivers, and as I say, look, they're coming here this weekend. It's time to make a name for yourself in the British Drift Championship. Prove why you're here. Are you coming just to show up, or are you coming to compete and try and take home some silverware? And right now, Oliver Bolton is proving himself to be a steely competitor.
Wow,
as Rutherford struggles to get back into this one. You can see him just battling, trying to do everything he can to stay close. But Oliver Bolton nailing that qualifying line. Yeah,
Ollie Bolton right now looking so strong. Didn't take the wall this time, and look at the difference it made to his lead line. Big error there, though, as he almost comes to the wall. Had to correct the steering, but like you say, Eddie, some big mistakes there from Ian Rutherford as he adjusted massively to try and get some proximity back into the fight.
Yeah, and I wouldn't like to call them, I suppose, mistakes. It's more so
adjustments.
Outpaced completely by Bolton, and just having to make those adjustments, having to make those sacrifices of a line, and you know the difficulties that come with that then, because you're driving on a line that you're not used to. You know, it's unfamiliar to you.
Yeah.
And trying to get yourself back into the battle. But you know what? He has his opportunity now to just do the same thing. Can he pull away from Oliver Bolton, apply that pressure from the lead position, and hope that Bolton struggles to keep with him and has to make those same errors?
So we've swapped him around. It will be Ian Rutherford now to lead in Oliver Bolton. Those guys sit on the start line ready to go. Thumbs up, and they are off. And Bolton gives Rutherford a little bit of room. Not the right move, but look at Bolton now. Starts to make the dive on initiation as they both run the wall. Absolutely perfect. Oliver Bolton starts to gain some proximity, but backs out of it as Ian Rutherford looks like he's very shallow. Oh, and a big mistake from Bolton there.
Big error from Bolton, as you say, Ian. And could this be handing the opportunity back to Rutherford? We talked about how he just had to hope for some mistakes. He certainly got them. Bolton brings the fight as they come across the line, but certainly Rutherford brings himself back into this one, and it just goes to show it's never over until it's over. And certainly, even from the lead position, the chase driver can still make those mistakes behind you. So never give up hope, and just pray that you can, you know, have
hold it together.
Yeah, hold it together, and that the other driver feels the nerves.
Decision is dropped in from our judges. Who's going to take it through to the top 16? Ian Rutherford or Oliver Bolton? Kieran, David and Ben. Kieran says one more time. David says one more time. Ben says one more time. We're going one more time. Judges couldn't split that one. Too many mistakes from both guys.
You know what? It wasn't too many mistakes. There was actually some really good driving in that. Bolton and Rutherford have excellent lead runs, the best runs they've put in all day. And Rutherford, in his chase position, he's sort of cutting the track and he's not getting the proximity. That we kind of say it's okay if you're on someone's door to cut the track, but he was trying to catch up for the whole circuit. So he was kind of bleeding points away as the run went on. So an advantage to Bolton on the first. Second run, Bolton, he actually has great proximity, but he makes a big error down the hairpin. Not huge, but it's enough that it's got him back into the fight. Rutherford back into the fight. He has a great lead run, and Oliver just on the inside of the hairpin, kind of ticking up a bit of dust with the front wheels. So while he has better proximity for most of the run, he does make one error. So after all that, it kind of balanced off 6-4 again for us, balancing it off to one more time.
So there you go, Eddie, and an explanation from Dave Egan of why I don't judge. So we're going to move it on to our next battle. Why those guys? While those guys cool their cars down, we're going to move it along to the next one. It will be Hayden Cruikshank to take on Danny Maguire.
Yes, and another interesting and important battle in terms of the championship. Hayden Cruikshank qualifying in third position and right up the order in the championship as well, looking to maintain that good form and that good run of success. The real question is, can we see him take it to a podium today? A lot of these drivers that are in contention haven't really featured on the podium, and it's time to start, getting yourself...
Yeah.
I think, look, never mind that from a championship point of view. If you have hopes of gaining a pro license, you don't want to make a jump up to a pro category without having been a regular contender and podium finisher in the Pro-Am competition.
Exactly. So off the line, Hayden Cruikshank to lead in Maguire. Maguire giving Hayden Cruikshank so much room, Eddie.
Yeah, quite a sizable gap opening up here, and Cruikshank, looking very comfortable. Danny Maguire doesn't seem to have an answer at the moment as he starts to close the gap, but has sacrificed quite an amount of the circuit in order to get there. And again, just dropping shallow as Cruikshank just delays down. Well, look, you're talking about a high 70, low 80 score of a qualifying run there, if not more.
Yeah.
Very impressive stuff from Hayden Cruikshank, and looking very comfortable on this circuit this weekend.
Yeah, Hayden Cruikshank looking very, very settled here. Looks like him and that car are gelled massively. Maguire, like you say, Eddie, making a big sacrifice to gain that proximity again. So now we've swapped him around, and I don't think you're going to see the separation this time. I'm pretty sure you're going to see Hayden Cruikshank staying with Maguire all the way to initiation.
And as they get the marshal orders, they leave the line, slam through the gears, first, second, third, and fourth, even for some of these drivers as they take it out to the wall. You see a little bit of a gap left from Hayden Cruikshank, expected to be quicker over the course of the circuit. He will bring that proximity towards the end.
Wow,
wheels off for Danny Maguire.
Yeah, Danny Maguire way offline, completely dropped him in point 2 and then drops wheels at 3. And you know what, Hayden Cruikshank looked like he could almost predict that one, held back and gave Maguire the room to make the mistakes.
Yeah, some sensible driving there from Hayden Cruikshank as they finish the second run. Judges still having a little quick talk about this one, of course. I think from Hayden Cruikshank's point of view, maybe could have brought a little bit more proximity throughout the run.
Yeah.
I wonder, did he leave maybe just too much of a gap? Obviously the judges wanting to see that aggression, and drivers, even with an advantage from the first run, not just back out and just potter through the second half of the battle.
Exactly, so judges are still deliberating this one. And we're going to have a quick look at a replay. As you can see here, Danny Maguire dropping wheels. Look at that, almost 4 wheels, just about kept 1 wheel on the circuit. So, judge's decision is
look,
in.
a huge error there. Danny Maguire, slide him left. Hayden Cruikshank, slide him right. Kieran, David and Ben, all in favour of your winner, Hayden Cruikshank. We go quickly back to the judges. Pretty clear cut, practically 4 wheels off there in the second run.
Yeah, that's right, Eddie. Aidan Cruikshank had a fantastic lead run to start with. I know that Danny's had some issues with the clutch on the car. They've had to change the diff, so that's why it looked like he was left napping at the start. And then obviously in the reverse role, Hayden has a good chase run, but Danny dropping wheels there off the track, and it's pretty clear cut.
So there you go, and we go back to the one more time battle of Oliver Bolton and Ian Rutherford.
Yeah, very excited to see this one because look, as Dave said, a lot of good driving between
Not
these two.
according to me. I said a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but look, there were some mistakes, I think, in the chase position. The lead driving was particularly good, and I think both these drivers will have a little bit of a moment there to go back to their pits, just change their tyres, but just take a moment to themselves to focus on tidying up those little errors that they made. And if they can clean up their chase run and just reproduce what they did in the lead position, that could be the difference maker. If both of them do it. We can't go one more time, so there will have to be a decision. Who's going to be Bolton or Rutherford as they come through? Look at this.
Oh, wow! As Ian Rutherford gets it wrong and showers the crowd with stones, Oliver Bolton stays in it. And Oliver Bolton looks strong out front now. Ian Rutherford with a massive mistake needs to try and gain back. Oh, and Oliver Bolton stops drifting and drives across the line.
Yeah, Oliver Bolton shutting it down there, Ian, and
so it'd be nice to
just get another look at that.
Try and find out what happened there. Is there a reason that Oliver Bolton shut the car down?
It looks as though he's going back to the line, so you'd have to assume that it's not a mechanical issue, or is he looking to... Yeah, so he's left the line. So just wait, we'll wait as we hear calling a 5-minute rule in.
So Oliver Bolton there calling a 5-minute rule, potential issue with that car.
Yeah, as we look for a replay just to see if we can get any idea as to what went wrong there. Just see car just shuts down on him.
Wow. So we're going to move it along to the next battle, keeping the action going here at round 3 of the British Championship. We're moving along on next one, and another heavyweight one.
Yeah, Callum Marshall taking on Adam Charvel. Both drivers qualifying mid-pack in, so you'd imagine there'll be this will be an interesting one. I have to say, this E36 BMW is phenomenal of Callum Marshall, and you know, as you say, he likes the party. Do you know what? Adam Charvel is looking to upset that party. He's coming in as the police, trying to shut things down, and you know, he's only going to be worried about his own agenda.
He certainly is, but Callum Marshall, the local guy, knows this place like the back of his hand. What has Callum Marshall got as he cuts across the circuit, smoking tyres all the way from the start line? Charville got caught napping. As Callum Marshall now starts to drop off behind Charville, doing everything he can to gain some proximity, but Charville needs to be on the door of Callum Marshall before he accelerates away, and Charville struggling to lay it down.
Yeah, you know what, Marshall, for me, just doing everything right at the moment, and what about that for a run? Made it really difficult for Charville to have any sort of an answer, just carried so much pace throughout the circuit in, and looking pretty confident out there at the moment.
Yeah, Callum Marshall looking very, very confident right now as we can see the complete inside of Adam Charville's car full of smoke.
Yes,
not
just
sure what
go
happened.
for a replay.
Callum Marshall fires that car in. Nice initiation, but he's offline. Look at this. Callum Marshall tries to get out to clipping point 2, just touches the rear wheels in the box. But Adam Charville not really bringing a whole lot of fight. As you can see, it almost comes to a dead stop. As he's practically doing a rolling burnout. That car's so much power under the bonnet. VR38, HGT sequential gearbox, all built by Secret Works.
Yeah, well, it looks as though they are ready to go for the second half of the battle, and I think, you know, barring, look, Callum Marshall's line wasn't perfect, but certainly had that speed, and despite the kind of deviation from the line, Charvel just wasn't able to keep it up. Can he do better this time around as Charvel takes it out to the wall? Callum Marshall again quite shallow in as he starts to hunt down the door, but offline.
Wow, and Charville takes the car into the ditch.
Yes. Pulls the
Callum
chute and
Marshall
evacuates.
puts pedal to metal and finishes off the run across the line. You know what, for me, maybe a big issue with Charville's car, it just doesn't look like it's got the grip needed. And you could tell that he tried to accelerate away from Callum Marshall as they come down into clipping point 3, and the car just washed onto that area where we said the marbles are, and yeah, look at that, Callum, absolutely beached.
Yeah, and as our recovery team just get into position to remove him from the circuit, we make it official from our judges. Pretty clear cut though. It looks as though that will be the end of Charvel's weekend. Left for Charvel, right for Marshall. Kieran, David and Ben all in favour of Callum Marshall, who progresses through to the top 16. That leaves us with 2 more battles in the top 32, and of course the second half of the one more time battle between Oliver Bolton and Ian Rutherford. Oliver Bolton calling that 5-minute rule halfway through the one more time battle, so we will revisit that once he has got the car back to the start line.
So don't forget, like Eddie said earlier on, 6:30 tonight. If you're local, you're watching at home right now and you're thinking, God, it looks good down there. I should have gone, Eddie. The weather's nice. I could have got my shorts out and gone down there and hung out with the guys, well, you're not missing out.
You still
can. Come down here, 6:30 tonight. Tickets on the gate, come in. We're going to be doing, Jeek from Driftland is going to be running some fun events. He's going to be doing burnout competitions, some team drift, we've got some fireworks. Come and hang out with all the drivers, see the equipment. But it does look like we got Nathan in the pits with an interview with his mate, Dwayne McKeever. Nathan.
So I am down here with the main man, the man they whisper about in corners. They say, have you heard of the man that won IDC rounds 1, 2, and 3, and is currently the leader in the BDC, smoking it in round 1, taking it in round 2. I'm here with, you know what I'm talking about, it's the main man, Dwayne McKeever. Dwayne McKeever's talk to me, how you feeling? Is it going to be 6 for 6 here today? You look cool as a cucumber. You've just been watching some of the other drivers. You look calm, cool, and composed. Have you got anything to say to your opposing drivers, and tell me how you're feeling?
There's not much more to say really, other than they need to watch out. I'm here. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm confident.
So basically what you're saying is they're all competing for second place. First place is already in the bag as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, really, it's a second place race for everybody else here this weekend. It's just, I'm first.
That's what I like to see. You know what? I believe you. And you've got every reason to. You've absolutely been smashing it. No matter where you go, it looks like nobody can stop the main man. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, a couple of weeks ago, you did win a little bit of a hot bounty of 20,000 euros over in Ireland. We're all dying to know, what have you spent in anything yet? Have you got it? Have you got anything you're going to spend it on? Maybe some voice lessons. That might be appropriate for yourself, because I can't understand a word you say most of the time. What are you going to do? What are you spending it on?
I've actually started taking jiving lessons, so I've actually invested all of my money into jiving lessons. So I'm jiving for the next 4 to 5 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got a friend over at Learn to Drift. I've got a contact, can probably put in a word, get you a 5% discount off. You let me know. But I don't think you're going to need those Learn to Drift lessons. I might take them myself, because you got what it takes to do it. You look calm, you look confident, you look composed. I wish you all the best. Let's see what you got.
Thanks, Nathan.
Nathan looking for a loan so that he can top up that fake tan of his.
Him and Dwayne McKeever, you know what they are? They are good friends.
Dwayne
Good
McKeever.
friends.
Was it jiving or driving?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if he needs some driving lessons, but certainly needs some elocution lessons.
So back to the start line, 1/2 of a battle left to go for these two guys. Oliver Bolton to take on Ian Rutherford. Big error from Bolton in the first half of the battle with a straighten, but can he overturn it? Can he try and force the error against Ian Rutherford? He's in the best place he can be, Eddie, as they come off the line. It's Rutherford to take on Bolton.
Yeah, Rutherford, look at the speed that he's carrying.
Oh, big error again from Bolton as Rutherford drops wheels over the line. Eddie hides under the table for fear of getting hit by another stone in the head. As Ian Rutherford drops wheels.
Look at this, Bolton bringing the fight through the final sections.
Wow.
Door to door in.
Oliver Bolton putting on the power as he pushes Ian Rutherford across the line. That is
You cannot say that these two guys are not giving it everything. 100% commitment from both of them right now, and that is what we want to see. It may not be perfect all the way around, but it's certainly...
It's enjoyable.
Certainly easy on the eye.
Very much enjoyable. So, does look like the judge's decision is in. Who's it going to be? Rutherford, Bolton, Kieran, David and Ben. It's unanimous. Ian Rutherford gets the win and goes through to the top 16. And finally, Ian taking down Oliver Bolton. Judges, we come to you. Not an easy one. Plenty of frills and spills in that.
To be fair, it was 10-0 after the first run, shut off up towards clip 6. Ian just had to put enough in, and that was it. Clear cut.
Not sure you know what a difficult one is, Ian, after that. There was a 10-0 on the first run, it was okay.
Well, you know, I'm just rooting for my guy. He's my guy from Essex.
He gave it a hell of a go on the second run.
Listen, he did. He put it all on the line, as some of them would say. So we move it along. You're going to get a lesson in...
Very, very unforgiving judges, aren't they? You know, it's a tough job that we have. You know.
Today they are...
We're watching you.
Brutal. Brutal. We move it along. Matthew Walker to take on Mark Illand.
Yeah, Matt Walker looking very strong today, qualifying in 6th position. And look, the speed that he gets out of this E30 BMW is phenomenal. If he can carry that through the circuit, I think he's going to cause problems for Mark Illand. But Illand coming here to take down some big names. Can he do just that and get himself into the top 16? Only 2 more spots up for grabs. But look at Walker. The speed he carries through that first section, Ian, is just so hard to match.
Yeah, Matt Walker, a.k.a. the Giant Killer, looking strong right now. S54-powered BMW E30. Laying down the smoke as Mark Illand tries to hunt down the rear quarter of Matt Walker's car, but Matt Walker
You know what? Illand not doing a bad job for probably 75% of that run, but then just can't keep the pace. And as we say, Walker's so good at maintaining that fluidity and just keeps that car just on power all the way through the circuit, hardly ever lifts. And you know what? Very hard to keep with him.
Yeah, very, very hard to keep with him. But now they've swapped him around. Can Matt Walker knock the nail in the coffin for Mark Illand and take home the win and get into top 16? Well, they get the thumbs up from our start line, Marshall Melks, and they are off the line. It's going to be Illand to lead in Walker for a spot in top 16. Like we say, Matt Walker, aka the Giant Killer. Illand fires it in though. Walker giving him some room right now, but now Walker starting to make the attack.
Yeah, leaving some room to breathe, but look, he knows that he has the pace. He knows he can claw back in. This is where he starts to form his attack, makes the dive. Can he get onto the door of the S14 as they fire it up the hill? Walker needs to bring a little bit more of a fight. Now he starts to bring the game side to side as they cross the line and take it out to the wall. Driftland, show your appreciation. Walker and Illand, one of them will have a spot in the top 16. One of them's going home. Who's it going to be?
So we await to hear from our judges. Looks like the decision is in.
Yeah, decision has been made by the judges. We await the confirmation. Will it be Walker? Will it be Illand? Left for Illand, right for Walker. Kieran, David, Ben, all in favor of your winner. Moving on to the top 16 is Matt Walker. Matt Walker takes the win. We go to the judges. Matt Walker getting it over the course of the 2 runs.
Yeah, it's nice to watch a battle with no errors, and basically that was, if you watch both runs, no errors. The only difference really is Mark just had better proximity over the 2 runs. So, Matthew, I should say. Matthew had better proximity over both runs.
See, we can get our stuff right. They make mistakes. They're not perfect, them judges. They get names wrong and cars.
Especially Kieran Hines.
Especially Kieran Hines.
He knows nothing about drifting.
Kieran Hines always getting stuff wrong, yeah. We know. See,
yeah.
We've all got flaws. Next battle's up, final battle of top 32, and it's a big one. It's a big one for Tessa Whittock. First time in Pro-Am competition, she's made it into top 32. Can she take down
I'm going to say I
Lee
fancy
Scott?
Tessa to take this battle.
You want to be careful. Martin Richards is a big guy.
I said to take the battle.
Take the battle. Oh, I thought you said you fancy Tessa Whittock.
Maybe
so
I do.
That's a brave move, Eddie. He's a big guy.
It's okay, Martin. I'm not trying to tread on your turf, you know.
So they're on the line, ready to go. It will be Lee Scott to lead out Tessa Whittock for a spot in top 32. Big task on Tessa's hand.
Here we go.
Now.
Look at the aggression from Tessa off the line, though, side by side.
Oh, a big jump from Lee Scott as he fires that car in. Tessa doing the right thing, though, staying on the qualifying line, Eddie.
Yeah, she slowed up momentarily, and it's cost her big time here. Just struggling to get the pace back in, and I'm not sure that car is running right. She looks like she struggled with it all weekend, and a little bit of an error. And again, just struggling coming up the hill here, and I think, you know what, Lee Scott looking very comfortable out there, but I don't believe that car is running 100% for Tessa this morning.
No, I think you're right. You know what, maybe a gearbox issue. Looks like she had a mischief problem going from clipping point 3 round that hairpin into 4. But you know what, Tessa Whittock, though, held her own, stuck to the qualifying line, exactly what the judges wanted to do. If you haven't got that proximity within a metre, don't sacrifice the line, stay on the qualifying line and do everything you can. So they are back on the start line and they are swapped around.
Yeah, look, I mean, from Tessa's point of view here, it has to be a flawless lead run. She has to hope for mistakes. She has to hope because Lee doesn't have an answer for the pace. But he's had answer for everybody's pace all season. And look at this, bumper to bumper right there. Lee Scott bringing the fight door to door as they come around.
Oh, what a big error from Lee Scott. Big error from Lee Scott. Tessa Whittock not on the best line, but she holds her own, Eddie, right now as Lee Scott makes a big wave. But can Tess hold this together and take down Lee Scott? Lee Scott almost taking the back bumper off that Driftworks arm.
Look at the aggression from Lee Scott here, though. He's right there.
Look at the line from Whittock as they come across the line. Driftland, show you appreciation for the final battle in top 32. And you know what? Tessa Whittock needs to hold her head high. What a lead run. Unbelievable. Not deterred by Lee Scott sitting on the door, Eddie.
No, I mean, really bringing the fight to your championship leader and to a guy who's been unbeatable in Ireland and England this year. You know, it's only been mechanical issues that have cost him at this point. Is it going to be enough for Tessa? Who's going through? Slide them left for Tessa, right for Lee. Kieran, David, and Ben, all in favour of your winner, Lee Scott. Guys, give a round of applause to Tessa Widdock. What a valiant effort in a car that certainly doesn't appear to be driving properly. We got to go back to the judges.
So, from Tessa's point of view, you know, she had some errors, obviously. On the first run, she shuts down, she's offline. She has no real proximity either. She has a pretty good lead run, to be fair to Tessa. Did a great job there. In regards to Lee Scott, well, business as usual. I mean, perfect. Not perfect on his lead run, but a strong lead run, and then the chase run. I think you don't need to be an expert judge to figure out why he's gone through on that one. Great stuff from Lee, back on form.
So there you go, Lee Scott back on form. And Eddie, that is the end of top 32, but it does look like my friend Nathan is back in the pits and he's having a chat with Paul Smokey Smith.
So, a little while ago, I had a chat with the reigning leader, Dwayne McKeever, and he basically said it's a competition for second at this point. Confident words by a confident man. However, I found another chap, and he's got a nickname. We're with Paul Smokey Smith. Now, what have you got to say to Dwayne McKeever, who said it's a race for second? Now, you came second in Middlesbrough with some superb driving. What have you got? What does it take from someone like you to dethrone him and go into first place here today live in Scotland?
Yeah, his reign's over. That's it now. You know, he was unlucky here last year, car failure, and there's a lot of people after him now. You know, me one. I should have had him at Teesside. No, that was my chance. I blew it. If it happens again this time, no.
So you let him off. You let him off once.
Yeah.
He was lucky as far as you're concerned, and if it happens again, he's going straight down. That was the first time I believe you guys ever went head to head.
Yeah, it was the first time me and Dwayne have driven against each other. You know, he got me on that one. It's not happening again.
Yeah, I like this. There's a sense of confidence in the air here today in Scotland. Now, we're here in Scotland. You know, you've got what it takes. We've seen that. What is it that's going to be the difference maker? What are you going to bring here today that you didn't bring a couple of weeks ago? What is going to be the difference?
I kind of like first time driving against him. I know his little tricks now, so yeah, it'll be the blinkers will be on. I'll be forgetting what he's doing in front, and just literally, I will not back off.
Now, the higher you go, obviously, the further you got to fall. There's a lot of people chasing him. I think you got what it takes to pull this one off, Did. And I've got to ask, I like this nickname, Smokey. Where's that come from? Have you got an addiction? What's the thing?
No, I'm a non-smoker. It's just the amount of smoke the cars create, you know, and just...
I get it. It's very simple. Smokey,
yeah.
cars, drifting, nickname. Well, I like it. Let's see. I was wondering who this was. Someone told me this is a picture of you. You seem to have changed your appearance a little bit. You look a lot more Mexican in these days. You've got a moustache, your hair's grown out. It doesn't matter to me what you look like. I've got every faith that you're going to smash it here today in Scotland. Best of luck to you, that's Smokey Smith.
So there you go, Nathan down in the pits getting all the hot gossip with Paul Smokey Smith and Mexican. We move it along to the first battle of top 16. It will be Ryan Caldwell to take on Cole Farrar. Cole Farrar looking strong. Two very, very good qualifying runs for Farrar and good momentum as he comes into top 16. Can he take down Ryan Caldwell, who looks on form? Well, Eddie, we're about to find out.
Yeah, we're about to find out, but this is a fantastic opportunity for Cole Farrar to, make a statement here as one of the British drivers looking to, I suppose, defend what is theirs, and that being the British Drift Championship. And, look, this season has been dominated by two guys, Caldwell and Lee Scott, and if Farrar can take him down here, you can see himself within a very good shot of taking it to the podium. However, easier said than done. This man, Ryan Caldwell, is phenomenally quick around this circuit, and he has looked very, very confident. First place qualifier, and you know what? We're about to see why. He's going to lay down guaranteed 80-90% qualifying run, and it's going to be up to Farrar to try and keep with him in that Mazda RX-8. Who is going through to the grade 8?
He certainly is. And look at this as Cole Farrar gets the jump, but fails to initiate on the wall, completely sacrifices clipping point 1. A bad move there from Farrar, Eddie.
Yeah, I don't agree with people trying to get the jump off the on down to that main straight, because it costs them more often than not. And Caldwell nailing that line as we expected. Farrar just struggles now just to kind of get back into that one. He can't get on the qualifying line because he's going to get lost in the cloud of smoke. He has to sacrifice that line, and you just see it so often in when they make the jump up the main straight and then have to let off the power to tuck back in. They lose so much momentum. By the time they get back on the power, the lead car is gone.
Exactly. So we're going to see a quick replay of this one. Like you say, Eddie, Carl Farrar got, you know, for you guys watching at home in attendance, he has all the right to a jump on the start line and try and gain some sort of ground, but he has to tuck in behind the lead car to initiate. Carl Farrar kind of doesn't really initiate how he should have done. He doesn't get to clipping point 1. He's not online. And then from there on out, he's lost his momentum, and for me, Caldwell just absolutely walks away.
Look, you can't give somebody like Ryan Caldwell an inch because they will just completely take advantage of it, and that's exactly what he's done. He's left the door open for Caldwell just to run off into the distance, and Caldwell knows now I just got to put, you know, a reasonably decent chase run in, keep relatively decent proximity. Doesn't need to be overly aggressive and on the door, and he's going through to the grade 8.
Yeah, exactly. So we go back to the start line. They're swapped around. It will be Farrar to lead out Ryan Caldwell as they come off the line. Caldwell now not giving Farrar an inch as he tacks on the back one for that RX-8. Farrar sends it in, initiates correctly this time, gets nice and high on a wild line.
Yeah, much better run from Carl Farrar now in the lead position, and you know, just what we would have expected. But look, Ryan Caldwell.
Oh, wow, what a spin and contact between Farrar and Caldwell.
Just as we were saying about Carl Farrar's line, but look, I mean, I think it was he was only prolonging the inevitable because those few mistakes that he had in the first run, Caldwell wasn't making them in the chase position, and I don't think it takes a genius to work out that Caldwell will be progressing through to the grade 8. We need to make that official from the judges, though. And you can just see there, yeah, the spin and a little bit of a
yeah,
love tap and a kiss.
Ryan Caldwell would have been straight on the kill switch and turned that car off. Wouldn't have been risking it. We're going to make it official. Farrar and Caldwell. And it's unanimous. Caldwell gets the win and advances through to the grade 8. As you can see, guys out of the car down there just assessing the damage.
Yeah, look, it looked like minimal contact there, but
okay, so it looks like he's damaged a boost pipe, so he's going to have to get recovered off circuit. So we're going to get Ryan Caldwell removed from the circuit, and then we will continue with our top 16.
And a quick word to our sponsors here this weekend, and of course all season in the 2018 British Drift Championships. AM Details, Brian James Trailers, Cosmos Racing, Funk Motorsport, Jap Speed, JDM Distro, Link ECU, Monster Energy, M-Tech Brakes, Samco Sport, Simpson Race Products, VP Racing Fuels, and Zestino Tires. And of course, all of you guys, the most important part of any championship, the guys who pay through the gate to come here in attendance to cheer on your favorite driver. And look, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better weekend. Beautiful sunny weather, a natural amphitheater like we have here in in Driftland. And of course, tickets still on sale for tomorrow, the main event, Pro Sunday. Some of the best drivers in the UK and from around the world coming here to Driftland. Tickets on the gate, £20.
Bargain. Bargain, that is.
For
it's going to
over
be sunny
8
tomorrow.
hours of entertainment.
It's sunny. We've got Monster Energy in attendance. We've got a big screen here. Good crowds, good driving. What more could you want?
Some of the most impressive car builds you are likely to see anywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, open paddock. You guys can get into the paddock, have a chat with the drivers, look around this amazing machinery that's on display. And also, not only that, Eddie, you can get down to the shop and get yourself some merchandise, some really cool T-shirts. Our track manager, Mike Leeson, sporting one today. Jess, Jordan and Amanda got the shop down there selling all the merchandise. So come along. We move it along to the next battle of the day. It will be Lewis Mitchell to take on Nerigis.
Yeah, and a very interesting battle between these two guys. And Nerigis qualifying down the order in 25th position, but managed to take down James Ireland. And of course, Lewis Mitchell qualifying in 9th position. So qualifying higher, but we'll have that in the back of his mind that Nerigis, you know, seems to perform better in the battle stages and carrying a lot of speed and a very aggressive driving style in that he takes through the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very, very aggressive driver and fresh blood here to the BDC Pro-Am grid. Can he take down a guy that's been in this for a very long time, Lewis Mitchell? Well, we're about to find out. It will be Mitchell to lead in and Nerigis. And look at Nerigis. Looks like he has years of experience already. Tucks in behind and initiates. Gets nice and high. Mitchell's on a good line, but Nerigis shallows up massively to try and gain some proximity. Now Nerigis needs to be careful. Looks like he's going to drop wheels if he's too wild here, but he stays into it and now starts to make the dive onto the door of Lewis Mitchell's S14. Both these guys stand on it and Nerigis bumper to bumper as they come across the line.
Yeah, you know, Nerigis doing a good job of keeping that proximity. Not the ideal line to follow, really, from Lewis Mitchell. As they get themselves prepared for the second half of the battle, just switching it around, you can see Nerigis now getting into that position to lead, and we'll have to run it through the start line chicane just to slow him up and allow that chase driver the opportunity to maintain proximity. Don't want a drag race here in drifting.
No.
It's not what it's all about.
No, it's not a drag race at all. We want to see these guys door and door. So they're swapped around, ready to go. And they are off the line. It will be Nerigis now to lead out Lewis Mitchell for a spot in grade 8 as Nerigis fires the car in. Needs to get nice and high, just about catches his rear wheel inside that clipping point box. Lewis Mitchell now starting to find some proximity. Can he get on the door? Big error there from Mitchell as he locks the front wheel up and gets himself offline ever so slightly. Mitchell gonna need to get on the door now, Eddie. And he has no answer for Nerigis as Nerigis stands on the accelerator and drives across the line.
No, Nerigis just never let him into the battle, never let him get close, and you know what? Mitchell just didn't have the answer for that pace and that aggressive style of driving. That's what we always say. It's the style of driving that Dwayne McKee has. It's a very fast, aggressive style, and makes it almost impossible for guys who aren't doing the same thing to keep up with.
To keep up, yeah, exactly. So, judges just deliberating this one ever so slightly as we await a decision. Sun still shining, light breeze, keeping everyone cool. Clearing the smoke off the circuit. I'm excited for tomorrow already.
You know what? Has this not been the craziest summer of
Ever.
drifting? You
Don't
know, we've
say
had.
That. You've said it now.
I can say it.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Look,
it's
we're in
been
the middle
crazy.
of a heat wave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Why wouldn't you come out tomorrow? England are out of the World Cup and over in Scotland.
Everybody's.
No one cares, but
Yeah.
especially the Irish. Everyone's cheering. That's not fair.
We're not cheering.
Yeah, they are. They're cheering.
No, do you know what it is, right? It's the English media that ruin it for the English team, I think. But anyway, it's
I'm not
drifting.
getting into
Nobody here cares about soccer. It's a girls' sport.
So, the judge is still going over this one. Like me and Eddie said, 6:30 tonight. Don't miss out. If you're local, pop down. 15 £15 on the gate. Bring your car in, do a burnout.
Yeah.
What more could you want to do? Bring your car in, do a burnout, watch some team drifting.
I'm gonna be doing burnouts in the rental. It's an Astra.
You shouldn't have said that live.
It's okay.
To
I paid the
few
insurance,
thousand people.
and the guy told me you can do whatever the hell you like with it. Just don't burst the tire.
Just
it's
bring back,
€250
just bring back the keys.
So result is coming through. Who's going through? Will it be Nerigis? Will it be Lewis Mitchell? Kieran, David, and Ben, all in favour of your winner. Nerigis going through to the Great 8. We go to the judges. Took your time deliberating over that one.
Yeah, we were just debating on where the errors lie. It wasn't a great run from both drivers. There's errors in the lead run, errors in the chase run, and in different areas. But it mainly came down to Lewis having a really poor initiation on his chase run on run 2. Had to cut a lot of track, and it came down to that as a 6-4 just on that final stage.
So there you go. A big mistake from Lewis Mitchell, knocking himself, in fact, out of competition, Eddie, and we move it along to the next battle, which will be Alexis Drew to take on William Hanna.
Yes, and William Hanna will be growing in confidence here, having come through that top 32 battle against Ryan Cooper. Now, can he take down the really on-form Alexis Drew, qualified in 4th position and looking unstoppable at the moment, Ian?
Yeah, listen, for me, Alexis Drew, his lead line is phenomenal. So much speed, so much commitment, and absolutely pinpoint perfect. Can William Hanna keep with him? Well, we're about to find out as Alexis Drew fires that car in nice and early. Look at the line already from Alexis Drew, way deep. keeps that car nice and wide as he fires into clipping point 3. William Hanna doing everything he can, very shallow, locking up the front wheel.
Yeah, William Hanna started off on a very good line at clip 1, but he's had to really shallow that up to try and match the pace here that Alexis Drew carries through the circuit. We said it beforehand, Ian, he's so quick through this course, and nobody has had an answer just yet. Will we see that happen later on in the competition? Only time will tell, but at the moment, William Hanna has to find a way of pulling a gap here in the second half of this battle, because right now, Alexis Drew looking unstoppable.
Yeah, Alexis Drew looking like a man possessed right now. As we stop up around, it will be Willie Hanna now to chase Alexis Drew. And can Alexis Drew now chase down the slower driver, Willie Hanna? Can he not get himself into a position where he makes a mistake? Can he keep his cool, find himself a place in the great
They leave the line for the second half of this battle. Now, can Hanna pull the gap? This is what we've waited for. This is what we need to see. Nice line from Willie Hanna. And so far, Alexis Drew not able to get real proximity. He's staying in contention here. Can he make the dive now as they come into that tighter section?
Yeah, here comes Alexis Drew, Eddie, as he starts to wind the screw in and push the accelerator down and get on the door. He needs to really push now as they come,
you know what,
across the line.
Yeah, I think maybe just not enough or a little too late for William Hanna. However, kept himself in that one, a near perfect lead line, did everything that he needed to do, and you really couldn't have asked for any more from him in that lead position. Didn't allow Alexis Drew get real door-to-door proximity. However, Alexis was able to maintain a reasonable gap and consistent gap the whole way around. We're about to find out who's going through, Hanna or Drew. Kieran, David and Ben. Kieran says Drew, David says Drew, Ben says Drew, Alexis Drew moves on to the grade 8. We go to the judges, talk us through it. Alexis Drew getting the call.
I'm actually going to start with the second run. Alexis has a reasonably okay chase. He stays on line a little bit better than Hanna does in his. It's not perfect though, and Hanna has an okay lead. What really tips this one over, the second run was kind of even, but the first run, Alexis Drew's lead run is excellent. Phenomenal lead run, and Hanna is cutting the track, and still, after cutting the track, has no proximity. So that's going to cost him there. It was a 7-3 to Alexis on the first run, which was enough to get him the win.
So there you go, Alexis Drew getting the win and making his way into grade 8. We move it along, Eddie, to the next battle of the day, which will be Ricky Lawrence to take on Alistair Sutton. Ricky Lawrence, the local guy, Driftland TV, taking on the 2017 Drift Cup champion. Listen, Alistair Sutton looks like the underdog.
Yeah, but he's certainly not.
He's certainly
he
not.
sits in second position in the championship, as we've alluded to earlier on. Ricky Lawrence, however, this is an ideal opportunity for him now to reignite his championship chase. He's not too far away from the top dogs. A good run here and taking out one of the championship contenders would do his cause just what it needs. And so far in on nailing that outer line. And Alistair Sutton having to go very shallow to maintain this proximity that he has here. But he is door to door, all out aggression as he chases down Ricky Lawrence, who looks so quick and seems to have found the pace in that car that he needs to take it into the grade 8.
Yeah, looking very, very scrappy from Alistair Sutton in that chase position, Eddie. Like you say, Alistair just not really bringing a fight. Ricky Lawrence, though, like you say, found that pace very, very fast indeed.
But you know what? It's really in the lead position where we see the real speed and pace of Alistair Sutton. A little bit more difficult for the underpowered car to have to try and chase down the lead line and make corrections to what the lead driver is doing, because you might have to slow in areas where you wouldn't normally slow, which can then give you difficulties in regaining your momentum. But in the lead position here, don't be surprised if Alistair Sutton pulls a little bit of a gap over Ricky Lawrence, despite the difference in horsepower as they leave the line for the second half of this run. Who's going to take that spot in the top 8? Look at this.
Wow, yeah, look at this, Eddie. You was absolutely correct as Alistair Sutton fires that car in now. Ricky Lawrence stands on it and tries to gain some proximity, starts to pick it up as he gets door on door in clipping point 3. This is looking good for Ricky Lawrence.
Yeah, side by side through that teardrop in. Really impressive car control from Ricky Lawrence in the chase position. Oh, and a little bit of a bump and a wobble from Alistair Sutton as he starts to feel the pressure as they cross the line. Guys, a round of applause for Alistair Sutton, Ricky Lawrence, two guys giving it everything and showing that they really want that spot in the grade 8. It means the world to them. Both of them hoping to keep their championship dream alive. And a spot in the Grade 8 would mean one more battle win away from a guaranteed place in tomorrow's main event.
Yep, so score is in. Judges' decision has been decided. Who's going to take it? Kieran, David and Ben are unanimous. Ricky Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, gets the win, advances through. Unfortunately, Alistair Sutton knocked out competition, and a big move from Ricky Lawrence there. Judges, we go to you.
Yeah, in the lead on there, Ricky, really good line until the very fast corner. It's a small bit offline there, but Alistair had no proximity whatsoever, and he was actually on the inside of the track all the way through the first part of the course. So he was trying to maintain proximity, but been nowhere near the clips while doing it. So strong 7-3 to Ricky after the first one. And then the second one, Alistair obviously is a slower car, but Ricky does a really good job in maintaining proximity and maintaining proximity while chasing a slower car. So again, takes an advantage in the second one. So over both runs, it was Ricky for us.
So there we go, decision made.
Now we move on, I believe, to our next top 16 battle on the other half of the bracket. Only 4 more top 16 battles to go, with Ross Barr taking on Stephen Halferty in what I can only assume is going to be a very interesting battle. Ross Barr, in the top 32, faced second place qualifier Jordan Boyce. He felt as though he wasn't going to have an answer for the pace. He takes down one of the hottest properties in the sport. Now he comes up against Stephen Halferty, qualified mid-pack, and has worked his way into the top 16. Halferty, though, the underpowered car pulls the gap. Ross Barr offline,
wow,
but starts to bring the proximity with a big straighten from Barr as they come down the hill.
Yeah, Ross Barr now really needs to think about what he's doing. Can't get caught in that slower ground. He needs to gain proximity.
Look at this, though, the aggression, bullying Stephen Halferty as he pushes him around the circuit and into the wall.
Wow, Ross Barr, very, very good driving there. Looked like at one point he was going to get stuck behind a slower car and force himself into an error, but he held on to it, and you know what? What a good drive from Ross Barr. We're going to swap him around now.
That was an absolute assault on Stephen Halferty from Ross Barr through the latter stages of that run, and just trying to. Are we going to see a replay here of the end of that run? Just have a quick look at it again. The aggression of Ross Barr. Look at this. Just gets a little bit caught as he come around with a teardrop, and now gets on it, puts foot to floor, transitions back, jumps onto the rear end of that touring BMW. And look, just making contact, pushing him into the wall, and yeah, an absolute assault on that BMW.
Yeah, phenomenal driving there from Ross Barr. As we swap him around now, Stephen Halferty to chase down Ross Barr. And you know what, for me, Stephen Halferty's really going to have to be on it. Can't let Ross Barr get away, because Ross Barr, that car is very, very fast.
Yeah, let's remember though, Ross Barr's line in the chase position wasn't perfect in the first half of that run, so there is room there to maneuver, but Ross Barr pulls big angle, launches through the first corner, doesn't make it out to clip 2, and washes wide as he comes just shy of that third zone as well. So judges will be looking at this as Stephen Halferty looks to try and get himself back into this one, but just can't get that proximity.
No, very, very scrappy lead from Ross Barr in the first half. Like you say, he completely offline, dropping clipping points, and Halferty just no answer for the pace of that car.
Yeah, look, Ross offline, but however, was he that far offline to warrant that type of a gap between the two drivers?
Well, we're about to find out. Slide him left for Ross Barr, right for Stephen Halferty. Kieran, David and Ben say Ross Barr gets the win and advances through.
And the dream weekend continues for Ross Barr, of course, debuting this car here this weekend. We got to go back to the judges to talk us through the decision. Ross Barr doing enough over the 2 runs.
Yeah, so Halferty's he's slow enough through the track. That's not his fault. He's been that way all day. So Barr had a tough time chasing him, obviously with more grip and much more speed, but he's incredibly aggressive throughout the run. And where it came down, sort of towards the end of the run, Halferty slows down, he sort of runs out of steam, and he's sort of driving across the finish line, so Barr not having much option to stay on his door. So an advantage to Barr after the first run. Second run, Barr, not the perfect run from 1 to 3, and we kind of discounted anything, or I did anyway, that Halferty lost there, but he lost a lot more from that point on, and he was sort of left for dead towards the end of the run. So Ross raising the bar and going through.
So there you go. A pun from Dave Egan. slipped in, and Eddie missed it.
No, I didn't miss it.
Oh, you got it.
Look,
got it. Oh, you got it.
if he wins today, it'll be all over bar to shouting.
Wow. Let's keep going. Andrew Earl to take on Ian Rutherford. Andrew Earl living that dream weekend right now, Eddie. Can Ian Rutherford stop him dead in his tracks? Well, we're about to find out. They're on the line.
I think it's going to take a lot to beat Andy Earl at the moment because he just looks invincible out there. He's like a new man, qualified 7th. Rutherford, though, has looked quick, and when it's mattered, he even came through that very interesting one more time battle with Oliver Bolton. His driving has been practically flawless, but look at him, 2 drivers and nailing that outer line in.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew on that perfect lead line, like you say, Eddie, but Ian Rutherford washes way offline to gain proximity. Not looking the usual Ian Rutherford as he starts to fall back now. Andrew Earl, though, like you say, Eddie, absolutely on form.
I'd love to know what side of the bed he got out of this morning, what it is he ate for breakfast, whatever it is he's taking, if it's supplements, if it's narcotics, I'm not sure, but whatever it is like a new man behind the wheel. And you talk about these drivers, we know that they're talented.
Yeah.
They can't always produce it, and only the best can produce it consistently over and over and over again. But right now, Andy Earl is producing his best stuff, and he is becoming a real problem for the rest of the grid here.
Exactly, yeah, he is, like you say, Eddie, and right now he's a problem for Ian Rutherford as he looks to be standing in the way of a spot in grade 8. They pull back to the line. It's Rutherford now to lead out Andrew Earl. Andrew Earl, one more run to go to claim a place in grade 8. They're off the line.
Yeah, what's Rutherford got? Look at the aggression here from Andy Earl as he comes in. Bumper to bumper, side by side as they launch through that first corner, and now Rutherford puts the foot down and tries to build a little bit of a gap, but Andy Earl is right there with him as he makes the dive down the inside. Can he stay with him through the latter stages? It looks as though he can as Ian Rutherford goes 2 wheels off track. And side by side, door to door, they almost make contact. Driftland, show your appreciation as they cross the line. Ian Rutherford knew he had to give it everything, but he could not shake the torn in his side that was Andy Earl.
Andy Earl just looks unbelievably on form today. Very, very good drive, a very, very good chase drive. So, looks like the judge's decision is clear cut. And we await to find out who takes a step into grade 8. As Kieran, David and Ben make it unanimous. Andrew Earl gets the win, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Earl gets the win and Ian Rutherford is out. Judges, we go to you.
Yeah, so that was a fantastic chase run. We all just deliberating. Andrew Earl there with the best chase run of the day. Not a lot to really say about Ian Rutherford's lead line. He did have to cut quite a bit of track on his chase run on the first point, but obviously Andrew Earl having the better of the 2 runs and taking the win.
So there you go. Andrew Earl taking the win and moving through into grade 8, and we keep going.
Yeah, we've got 6. We need 2 more, Ian. 2 spots up for grabs. Who's going to take them? Hayden Cruikshank coming up against Callum Marshall now in, look, it's getting down to the business end of things. 2 spots up for grabs, and Cruikshank needing to keep his championship hopes alive here. Callum Marshall, though, he's on his home track. He's just looking to, take down some big names and have the time of his life, and it seems to be what he's doing at the moment. Representing Ross Bart Joinery, can he keep the Dream Weekend alive? Can he take down one of the biggest names in the Pro-Am competition? Big side-by-side flick entry from both drivers as Cruikshank just about gets into the second zone, and Marshall stays with him door to door as they come down the bank and into that tight hairpin zone. And at the moment, Cruikshank can't shake Callum Marshall, who has an answer for everything that the championship contender has to throw at him. And as they cross the line, BDC makes some noise.
Very, very good run from both those guys. But like you say, Eddie, Hayden Cruikshank not able to shake Callum Marshall. But Callum Marshall, for me, one big error, and that was on the initiation. Dropped way off of clipping point 2. It's kind of cut the circuit massively. So, but you know what? Hayden Cruikshank looks on form. Can tell why he's in 3rd place in the championship right now. Look at this big, massive mistake from Callum Marshall. Very, very shallow. Almost drops a wheel on the grass as he comes through there. So, judges going to be looking at that.
Yeah, look, but he does get that proximity then and manages to maintain it throughout the rest of the circuit, so they will take that as a point as well when making their decision. But certainly giving himself and Hayden Cruikshank something to think about here. And a lot of our mid-pack drivers, or drivers that might normally be mid-pack, really stepping it up here this weekend, Ian, and showing that they belong in this championship, and that they really have the capabilities to put it up to the guys who have been performing better so far this season. Now, can Marshall pull a gap on Cruikshank?
Well, look at this, and he certainly can as he drives that car, and he's got a good line so far. Drops a wheel over those three dotted lines. And Hayden Cruikshank just sticks to the qualifying line now, starts to rein in some proximity, but he doesn't have the proximity that Callum Marshall had when they finished off the runs, as Callum Marshall stands on the accelerator and takes it to the wall and over the line.
Yeah, and look, you talk about the deviation from line from Marshall on the first run, but he maintained that proximity. Cruikshank didn't have an answer for it on the second run. Could it be the difference maker?
Listen, not sure how this is going to go. Yeah, like you say, could it be the difference maker? Well, the judges look like they've decided this one very, very quickly, Eddie, as the score drops in. Who's going to take it through? Callum Marshall on the left, Hayden Cruikshank on the right, Kieran, David and Ben. And it's unanimous. Callum Marshall gets the win, ladies and gentlemen. Callum Marshall gets the win. Hayden Cruikshank out of competition. Judges, no aggression from Cruikshank.
That's a really close one, actually. It comes down to a very, very technical analysis of both runs. Cruikshank has a pretty shallow lead run. Marshall, though, he didn't really he couldn't really take advantage, but he stayed with him throughout the course. I wasn't completely happy. It was one of the not as great lead runs from Cruikshank as he came through clip 1 to 3 on his lead run. Switch him around to the second one. Marshall, again, not perfect, but he's a bit faster than Cruikshank was. And Cruikshank has a big wash between clipping point 2 and 3. Sort of almost went off the track. And then, of course, he lost that little bit of ground by coming off the throttle. Had to cut the track to make up the ground through the hairpin. And at that stage, it was just enough an advantage to Marshall to get him to win over the 2 runs. So
there you go. Callum Marshall getting the win and going through to the Great 8, and we have one more battle left of top 16, and that will be Matt Walker to take on Lee Scott.
Yeah, and I think this is a very, very interesting battle. You take it at Lee Scott winning the championship. Matt Walker not out of contention in this championship. If he takes down Lee Scott, he's taking valuable points away from the championship leader, and also doing his own campaign a serious, serious justice, because it brings him right back into it. He has looked very quick. Lee Scott came through qualifying, didn't manage to top it, didn't look as composed as normal. His top 32 battle, it looked as though Tessa Whittock didn't have the car for the battle. Here we go, we are ready, bumper to bumper though. The aggression here from Lee Scott as he goes side by side, door to door to Matt Walker, and look at this from your championship leader.
But look at the lead line from Matt Walker. Matt Walker is absolutely perfect, not dropping a wheel wrong so far, but look at Lee Scott making another big dive right in front of the crowd, and the judges stand pushing on the door of Matt Walker's E30 as they push each other across the line.
If you had any doubts about Lee Scott's hunger and strive for this championship, you have just got an answer. Wow, what about that for a chase run in? Phenomenal, but Walker not putting a foot wrong in the lead position. A battle of the titans right there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Matt Walker just looked unstoppable. He not phased at all by having Lee Scott on the door. And you know what, for me, we call Matt Walker the giant killer. Can he retain that name? Can he take down Lee Scott? Well, they're on the line and ready to go. It's going to be Matt Walker to chase Lee Scott for a place in the Great 8.
Yeah, look, Lee Scott's laid down the marker. He says, there you go, Walker. That's what you got to do. You want to beat me, you got to go closer. You got to be more aggressive, because I have laid down an absolute stomper of a chase run. Now, lead moves into the lead position.
Yeah, Lee Scott absolutely fires it through. Matt Walker just sacrificing line ever so slightly to gain a bit of proximity. But look at this, Matt Walker now returning the fight to Lee Scott's door as he almost makes contact. Big transition from Walker. Can he get back in the fight, or can Scott outpace Matt Walker in that little BMW as Scott looks dominant and takes him over the line?
Yeah, I think pace being the name of the game there, because Scott just looking so quick throughout the circuit. And you know what? I think he might be enjoying or relishing the fact that he is the chase driver in the first battle in some of these runs. Not something that we're accustomed to seeing him do, but laying down that marker of, this is the chase run that you got to match, because you know I'm going to nail that qualifying run.
Exactly. So we await for the score to drop in from our judges. Who's going to take the final place in a Great 8? Will it be Walker? Will it be Scott? As the scores appear on the screen, Lee Scott on the left, Walker on the right, Kieran, David and Ben. And it is unanimous. Lee Scott gets the win and advances through to the Grade 8. Unfortunately, Matt Walker out of competition. We come to you, judges.
Yeah, so that was a really, really great chase run there from Lee Scott. Matt Walker put in a fantastic lead line in, which made it a lot easier for Lee to have a really good chase run. If it weren't for the fact that Matt put a great lead run in, we'd have gone 8-2, but it was more 7-3 due to how good Matt's lead run was. And obviously, Lee put in the best chase run in of the day. Switching it around with Lee to chase, it just looks more like Matt Walker was out-card. Lee had got the pace. Hesitated a little bit off the line, which then caused the separation, which Matt Walker couldn't recover from. He still kept on line, didn't do anything too wrong. It was just the proximity on the second run that obviously caused it more in Lee's favour.
So there you go. Lee Scott, aggressive, good proximity. Overall, gets the win and goes through to the Grade 8, knocking out Matt Walker. We move it along, Eddie, to the Grade 8. But before we do that, we're going to go see my pal. Nathan is about somewhere.
You need one friend, I suppose.
And he's having a chat with one of our pro drivers. Nathan.
So I'm down here with the crowds, and I've found, sitting down here, having a little chill out, Martin Richards. So we've had a chat with Dwayne McKeever, reigning winner from BDC 1 and 2. We had a chat with Paul Smokey Smith, who says Dwayne's going down and it ain't nothing but a thing. So I thought we spoke with first, we spoke with second from last rounds. Let's have a chat with third, so see if we can grab a chat. If you could, you want to just, can you drift over there or something? Keep going, out of the shot. So you just want to, Martin, thank you. How are you, bud? Excellent. I prefer you sat down, less intimidating to me. Listen, we've had a chat with old Smokey Smith. We've had a chat with Dwayne. Dwayne says it's a race for second. Smokey says Dwayne's going down. I thought we've got to come and have a chat with you. You were so close just a couple of weeks ago in Teesside. How are you feeling? What's going to change? Why are you still wearing sandals?
I'm in a different country, so I'm wearing sandals because of that, because I'm basically on holiday.
It's a holiday, isn't it? Unbelievable punishment holiday. And the other two, feeling confident, and what's going to change?
Confident, yeah, the car's awesome now, building up confident, been on the podium twice. Dwayne is on a streak, but it's not going to last for too long. We've got to work together. The English have got to work together. We've got a bit of an Irish invasion here, so we need to work together and kick his ass out this door.
I'm absolutely loving this. As I said before, there's a real air of confidence around about in Scotland today. Smokey Smith said there's not a chance that Dwayne's going home with the gold today. I've got every belief. What happened? And take me back to Teesside. It was looking fantastic. What is it as far as you're concerned? Were they just the better man on the day, or was it something that you did that you rectifying here today in Scotland?
It's basically Smokey's fault. Jap speed.
Blame the competition, yeah?
Gotta blame the competition. Yeah, he was really fast. I felt him on me straight from the off, and I just tried to be a little bit too fast for my own self and made the mistake, and that put me out. But I was still happy to come away with a third position. So
look, it's a new day. This could be the day. I've got every faith in you. One last question for me: are you still in a happy, loving relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. All right, thank you very much indeed. I'll see you later. That's Martin Richards, ladies and gentlemen. Good man indeed. Thank you.
So there we go. Nathan getting all the hot gossip and...
Yeah, a real smell of desperation off Nathan, isn't there?
Well, we're moving along. First battle of our Grade 8 this afternoon will be Alexis Drew to take on Ricky Lawrence. And you know what? Not going to be an easy battle for either of these guys. Alexis Drew looking very, very strong. Ricky Lawrence, on the other hand, knows his track, like we say, Eddie, like the back of his hand, and he's proving that right now.
Yeah, really is, looking very confident. And these two drivers, look, Lawrence takes down Sutton, who's been just so confident. Drew takes down William Hanna. I mean, call a winner. Space in the top four. Huge prize at stake here.
Yeah.
And not only the opportunity to go into, to get a spot in the podium, but also a chance to battle it out tomorrow in the main event. So the nerves will be starting to build for these guys. Alexis Drew, importantly, has looked so quick throughout the circuit. And will Ricky Lawrence, who as you say, knows the circuit at the back of his hands, might have a few tricks up his sleeve to get that pace down. And it looked as though, as we said the last battle, that he found a little bit more pace in that car. And it's a hard one to call.
It is a hard one to call, like you say, Eddie, and we are just waiting to get the thumbs up from our drivers. Our track marshal gives me the thumbs up. We are clear to go. Doors shut, helmets on, visors down. Ricky Lawrence to chase out Alexis Drew for a spot in the final 4. Who's going to take it? Look at Ricky Lawrence bringing the aggression as Alexis Drew fires that car, and Alexis nailing the accelerator, and Ricky Lawrence
Look at Ricky Lawrence right there, Ian.
Wow, on the door is Ricky Lawrence as he starts to push the G3 Pro driver around this custom-built drift circuit. Alexis Drew now stands on the accelerator and starts to pick up some pace. Can Ricky Lawrence get back on the door, or has Drew got enough?
Yeah, Drew has the pace up the hill and pulls that gap, but you know what? Ricky Lawrence right there the whole way around the circuit, and what a dogfight that was between two guys at the top of their game right now. Alexis Drew and Ricky Lawrence. We said it was going to be a scrappy, and it certainly didn't disappoint. We still have the second half of the battle to go. We switched them around. Ricky Lawrence now in that lead position. They know the stakes are high. A spot in the final 4 for the winner. A place in tomorrow's main event. But you know what? Both these guys want to take home some silverware, and that is what it's all about. Both these guys want to take down the Irish, and they want to prove that they are the best in the business in the UK. Who's going through to the final 4? Lawrence to lead in Drew.
Yeah, look at that nice initiation from Ricky Lawrence as he fires that car in, but Alexis Drew now needs to get that proximity, locking up that front wheel as they come through the first hairpin now. Drew just keeping some distance from Ricky Lawrence. He needs to get on the door ready to seal the deal. As Ricky Lawrence fires that car backwards, nice wide line from Lawrence.
Yeah, but very shallow from Alexis Drew as he tries to get that proximity. They almost make contact as they cross the line. Things certainly getting intense here at round 3 of the British Drift Championship, live from Driftland in Scotland. Track temperatures, I can only imagine, soaring out there at the moment.
So, looks like the decision is in. Eddie, who is going to take it? Slide them left for Lawrence, right for Alexis Drew. And Kieran, David and Ben make it unanimous. Ricky Lawrence gets the win, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky Lawrence gets the win. Guys stepping up the pace out there a little bit, judges.
Yeah, with the first one there, for the first one, you know, Ricky has an advantage for the first half of the track. He's on like a 6-4 in the first half, but near the end of the course, as we come past 5 out to 6, he falls away a little bit, so he loses that and brings it back to a 5-5, so it's even after the first run. With the second one there, Ricky has a good lead line, and Alexis doesn't really get proximity, and he actually cuts the track, especially from 5 to 6. He cuts the track massively there to try and keep proximity. So never really gets it. So Ricky gets advantage on the second one. So over both runs, as Ricky took it from us.
So there we go. Ricky Lawrence taking the win and going through. And we have a bit of a development in our next battle coming up. Should be Ryan Caldwell to take on Nerigis. But we've got a bit of a situation, Eddie, and we're going to head to Dave Egan to give us exactly what is going on. Dave.
Thanks, Ian. So this is just looking at the rule book, essentially. So in the battle between Farrar and Caldwell, if that incident had occurred after one run and the battle was not completed, Caldwell would have been given a competition timeout, and then we would have seen if he could get back by the end of the bracket. However, it was on the second half of the battle and Caldwell got the win. So he won that battle and moved on to the next stage of competition, meaning that he had to have his car ready to go to the line for the next battle, essentially. Now, he was unable to do that, so he was allowed a 5-minute rule on top of his allocated time to get the car ready. Unfortunately for Ryan, it looked like they weren't able to fix that car in time, and he wasn't able to make it back out to the next stage of competition. So a very unfortunate end of the day for him, but judging by the rule book, that is exactly how it goes. If you don't make it back out for your next run and you use your 5-minute rule, unfortunately you can't compete.
So there you go, Eddie. I mean, not the way that Nerigis would have wanted that. I know, you know, that guy would have wanted to take on Ryan Caldwell, but Nerigis does advance through into the final 4, and unfortunately Ryan Caldwell is out of competition. We move it along to our next battle, which will be a very hard-fought battle. Again, it will be Andrew Earl to take on Ross Barr. These guys are going to be going hard, Eddie, and Andrew Earl looks like he's having a dream weekend.
Well, look, I think both these guys are having a dream weekend, and a spot in the final 4 up for grabs, and I'm not sure if either of these two drivers have been that far in the competition before, Ian.
No, I mean, listen, I know for sure Andrew Earl hasn't, and Ross Barr, fresh car, he's going to be looking to prove a point.
Look, this one is there for the taking, and one of these drivers is going through to the final four, and they couldn't ask for, look, they're up against each other in a very similar vehicles and very similar talent levels, and a real opportunity. Oh, look at this for a big dive from Ross Barr, who has to back out of it.
Oh, what a big error. Yeah, big error from Ross Barr there.
Locking up those front wheels, Ian, and regaining that ground now. But Andy Earl doing what he has done all day long. And I mean, look, it's like he's on Scalextrics. It has been inch perfect all day. The same consistent run throughout. And consistency wins you drift events.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, very, very good run there from Andrew Earl. Looked good from the get-go. Unfortunately for me, Ross Barr, you can just see here for you guys watching at home, initiates, but he's way down. Look how down he is off of that high line. Completely misses clipping point 2. Andrew Earl on an absolutely perfect line. Look at this though. Andrew Earl starts braking. Ross Barr makes a dive, but it messes himself up. He carries too much momentum through clipping point 3.
I think
has to adjust massively. So
rush of blood to the head. I think aggression when it should have been composure. And I mean, he had the proximity there already. He didn't really need to go more aggressive. However, I think the judges may just look at that and just see if there was any unnecessary slowing from Andy Earl, because it does look like a massive shoot forward from Ross Barr. So I'm just wondering, was there something else at play there? Well,
we're about to find out how this is going to play out as we see Andrew Earl now chase down Ross Barr for a spot in the top 4 as Andrew Earl fires in behind Ross Barr. Now Andrew Earl is low offline. Andrew Earl
washes wide.
Offline.
Washes way wide, drops at least 2 wheels there.
Yeah, big error. Oh, what a big error from Ross Barr.
Shuts it down.
Ross Barr stops drifting.
Shuts it down. Too much going on there to try and comprehend.
And what has gone on there? Wow. So I think everybody is going to need to see a replay of that. So you guys in attendance, if you're going to come tomorrow, we will have a big screen here so you'll be able to see exactly what me and Eddie are talking about. Look at this. Ross.
Yeah, so we await for that replay to come through onto our monitors, and we'll talk you through it. Again, just, it looked as if whatever could go wrong went wrong for these drivers on the second half of that battle. And I think for Andy Earl, the real difference is in the past he's kind of looked a little bit timid. Yeah. He's come out here with just aggressive driving nature, and replay coming to us now in just a moment. Just a little bit of an error just with our screen there. So hearing that Ross Barr struggled to get a gear, which caused his problems, and a massive straightening.
And here we go, a replay. Look at this. As Ross Barr fires it in, Andrew Earl, you can see Ross Barr not on the best line, but does make it out to clipping point 2. Ross Barr, you can see, can't sit there, but carries miles too much speed, drops 2, possibly 3 wheels off circuit. And this is where Ross Barr completely stops drifting. Very, very hard one for the judges to call. I mean, listen, were the wheels off enough for a 10-0 for Andrew Earl?
It looked as though they were, tinkering on the edge of the line and over the line. I'm glad I'm not making the decision, Ian.
Yeah, so am I, as we await for that decision to come in.
Look, I really, possibly the occasion getting to these two guys a little bit as well. Who's going through, though? Barr or Earl? Slide him left for Barr, right for Earl. Kieran, David, and Ben. Unanimous, all in favour of Andrew Earl going through to the final 4. Judges, a lot of errors there.
Yeah, there was quite a few errors on parts, but it mainly comes down to, obviously, on the second run, I think they've had gearbox issues. He had to shut it off, so obviously the advantage went to Andrew Earl and he went through.
So there we go, Andrew Earl gets the win and advances through to the top 4. We move it along to the final battle of our Grade 8, and that will be Callum Marshall to battle Lee Scott. Now, Englishman couldn't get it done, Eddie. Can a Scotsman do it? Can a Scotsman take down Scott?
Ooh.
See, I've got.
Oh, no. Feeling Scott.
Feeling Scott. Who's Scott it?
Who's Scott it? Well, we're
Oh, wow. Feel like Dave Egan right now. Look at him shaking his head. That's how I feel, Dave. He is very jealous. He's much jealous of the puns. So on the line, Lee Scott to lead out Callum Marshall for a place in the final 4. Can Lee Scott retain his unbeaten UK record? Well, One Scotsman stands in his way right now. They're off the line.
Yeah, one way or another, Ian, it's going to be a great Scot in the final four, but which one will it be as they go side by side?
Whoa.
BMW to BMW. Oh, wheels off from Lee Scott as he feels the pressure. Marshall looks to make the overtake, but rethinks about it. Jumps back on the door of your championship leader.
And look at Callum Marshall absolutely forcing Lee Scott. Oh! Lee Scott!
Defeated tyre from Lee Scott.
Wow.
Wow, you can see the tyre off the rim.
Wow.
Driftland, make some noise.
Come on, Driftland, raise the roof for Callum Marshall and Lee Scott. What an absolutely phenomenal battle for you guys watching.
Here
at home.
comes the replay.
We're going to watch the replay. Where did the tyre DB'd, Eddie? Look
There.
at this.
There.
Yeah, bam, there it is, DB'd before
That's
clipping
why he
point
goes
two.
off track.
And look at this, Callum Marshall, what car control, absolutely balances that car behind Lee Scott. He can tell there's a problem. Callum Marshall makes little dives, little jabs every now and then. And look at this, Lee Scott tries to transition,
I
no
mean,
grip.
to make it that far in the run before spinning with unbelievable. 3 tyres on the car.
And look at that, Callum Marshall sits on the line with 1 foot in the final 4.
And now he's got some time to think about it as well. Lee Scott calls the 5-minute rule.
So Lee Scott calls a 5-minute rule.
So,
I mean, it's getting drastic, Eddie, it's getting drastic.
it certainly is. I mean, heated. We've seen Lee Scott be taken down by mechanical failure in round 3 of the Irish Drift Championship. Could we see a problem now? So, and just hearing it looks as though Nathan, your friend, is back down in the pits, this time with Sultan Al-Qasimi. Let's see what he's got to say.
So I am down here with one of the more interesting drivers that I've come across at the BDC. We had a nice little chat at BDC round 1. He was vacant in action. We didn't see him at round 2 in Teesside, but he's made his triumphant return. It's Sultan, it's round 3. Tell me how you're feeling. Now, last year, different car, different vehicle. We had a little bit of an incident. What happened?
I went to the bank, as they say. No puns intended. But yeah, I was. When you go down the hill, there's so much grip on the track. The car starts hopping.
So just terrible driving then?
Yeah.
Blame it on the surroundings, but yeah, lost control. It doesn't matter because it's a new year. It's 2018.
Yes.
We had a brand new car built. It's looking flash. Now, round 1 went quite well. Missed it in Teesside. You're here for round 3, and the main talk of the town here is Dwayne McKeever. Yeah. He's reigning. He's unstoppable. He's literally on fire. Smokey Smith says it's not happening here today. Martin Richards says not a chance. He's going down. Now, you went up against him at round 1. How are you feeling about him? Is it his time? Is he going to carry on his ascent to the top? Or is this the day when it all ends? And are you the man to make that stop?
I must say he is fast, but I'm not going down without a fight.
I like it. Why? What is it? Is it the skill, or is it just it's been unlucky for you guys? I've heard that you've got an absolutely one hell of a car here, a bit of machinery. It looks like a winning car to me. What is it going to be today that makes the difference and sends you home as the winner?
Speed, I guess. He's just so fast. You have to be fast to beat him.
He's a speed machine.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be the man to stop the reign of Dwayne?
Yeah.
The most confident yes I've heard all day. Now I got one more question. Rumour has it, you're looking cool and calm here today. Arrived a little bit late. Now is that because you were at the arcade all night? I've seen a video on Instagram of you at a 10 pence machine with about 9,000 tickets. What did you get? A pencil topper for that much?
Candy. I just got candy.
Candy. So you're on a sugar rush all night. Didn't go to bed till 6 a.m. Up, late breakfast, here. And we're ready to take it home. I wish you all the best, Sultan. You're the man. Much love. That's the main man, and we'll catch up with you later.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, listen, Sultan, confident. Listen.
And another very informative interview.
Yeah, listen, he's getting the info. He's learned about the Eurofighter, and he knows now Sultan, he's a good driver. Sultan took James Dean to a one more time in Dubai. So
Sultan his driving has come on tenfold. Listen,
unbelievable. Videos of him just 2 weekends ago at Gap Hill Super 3 competition. That guy was hanging that Eurofighter.
And you got to remember, he is the Emirati 2017 champion, or is it 18? Hard to know. From the Monster Energy
Emirates
Championship.
Yeah, he's the winner of that. So
champion.
That guy, he's not to be messed with. But it does.
And you know what? The championship competition really, improving over the last number of years there. So that's not something to be sniffed at anymore. While those guys may have been playing around a few years ago, that's a serious business championship right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it does look like we have got Lee Scott back on track, ready to take on Callum Marshall. Now, listen.
Look.
Callum Marshall is sitting with a 10-0
advantage over Lee Scott. But
Lee Scott.
But he's had a little bit of time to think about this as well.
Listen, Callum Marshall sat on the line with his spotters and he said, well, can he overturn it? Is there a way?
Well, look, he's right where he needs to be if he wants to force the
issue. Eddie, and we are off the line. It will be Callum Marshall to lead out Lee Scott. Can Callum Marshall find himself in competition? Look at Lee Scott, he's on the door as they fire it in. Lee Scott is bringing the fire, but he's dropping wheels again. Lee Scott dropping wheels again as Callum Marshall looks cool, calm and collected.
He knows he's got to go aggressive and dives down into the inside to try and force the error. One more corner to go, and Callum Marshall is going through to the final four and
Lee Scott's car! Lee Scott's car gives up.
One of the cars.
As Lee Scott rolls past,
Lee Scott's car gives up as they cross the line. Guys, as he gets out of the car, hit him with a round of applause. As you can just see.
Yeah, for you guys here in attendance, I'm not sure if the live feed picked it up. There was a huge misfire from Lee Scott's car, and he jumped straight out of the car after he crossed the finish line. But Callum Marshall, what
guys,
a guy.
Give them both a round of applause as they shake hands. And
we need to make it official, Eddie. Scores drop in from our judges. Callum Marshall on the left, Lee Scott on the right. Can Callum Marshall take down Lee Scott? He certainly can. Callum Marshall gets the win, ladies and gentlemen, and advances through to the final four. Lee Scott's reign, Eddie, is starting to fall.
And you know what else? The Irish reign is starting to fall. One Irish driver remains in the final four. We got to go to the judges. We don't really, but we're going to. So unfortunate for Lee Scott.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do. He initiated and the tyre came off the rim. So from that point, it was a brave effort to try and get around this track with one tyre. But when he transitioned, you could see the tyre actually went inside the car and must have jammed something up and spun him around. Nothing he could do about it. To be fair to Callum, he didn't really put a foot wrong, and he did really well to chase Lee when he was super slow with one tyre. So it's a very valiant effort from Marshall all day. And as far as I'm concerned, a very worthy guy to go through to the final.
So there we go. Yeah, a very, very worthy guy. Callum Marshall proving his worth. Eddie, we're gonna get Lee Scott recovered off track, and fingers crossed, not too much damage there. We need to move it along to the next battle, and it will be Nerigis to take on Ricky Lawrence.
Yeah, look, we have two semi-finals up and coming, and you know what? I want to turn the clock back a few hours to this morning's briefing, where David Egan challenged these drivers and these UK drivers to raise the bar, and that is exactly what has happened since then. We have a final four with four drivers who have not podiumed this year, and that is a statement, I think, from some of our grid here this weekend. Who is going to take it to the top step? It's going to be a brand new winner here in the British Drift Championship in the Pro-Am competition, and I couldn't pick a winner. Right now I'm looking at Andy Earl as being, the winner of that battle with him and Callum Marshall could be the decider.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be very, very close. Yeah, Callum Marshall take down Andy Earl and put Andy Earl into the third and fourth place playoff. Yeah, that's a possibility just being told over my headset. Yeah, could we see Callum Marshall and Ricky Lawrence, two locals, go head to head in the final? I'm not sure, but it's going to be a close one as we see Lee Scott getting recovered off track. So we have got our guys on the start line are ready to go. Eddie, it will be
Ricky Lawrence and Nerigis to fight it out, a place in the final up for grabs.
Yeah, and they are on the line, ready to go. It will be Ricky Lawrence to lead out Nerigis.
Here we go. A space in the final awaits the winner. Nerigis looking to get the jump. on Ricky Lawrence, but look at the pace from Ricky Lawrence as he fires all the way out to that white line.
Oh, and a big error there from Nerigis as he almost comes to a straight and has to reinitiate. Nerigis now desperate to get back in the fight. The big jump from Ricky Lawrence caught him unaware. Ricky Lawrence looking fast out front, Eddie.
Oh, so fast, and we said he found pace, and no one can match it right now as he crosses the line. Could we see a Driftland regular in the final? Scotland, make some noise. There they are, Ian. We knew it.
They were there. They've just woke up.
Here comes the replay.
Look at the jump from Ricky Lawrence as they come down onto the wall. Nerigis, look at this, ahead of Ricky Lawrence, edging him on, but the jump from Ricky Lawrence, phenomenal. Fires that car and carries some really good speed on a very wide line. Look at that. Perfect, and there's the error from Nerigis.
Yeah, straight in there and almost just dropping a wheel as they come down into that teardrop section. And look, I mean, you want to talk about Ricky Lawrence, a man on an absolute mission. He is just powering through the circuit and destroying anybody that stands in his way.
Exactly, so we are back on the start line. These guys are ready for action. It will be Nerigis now to lead out Ricky Lawrence. And Ricky Lawrence, Eddie, looking strong in his home ground. As they come off the line, Nerigis tries to get the jump, but Ricky Lawrence is right with him. Here we go. Ricky Lawrence fires it in before Nerigis.
Oh, door to door, look at this. What about that for a chase run from Ricky Lawrence?
Oh, wow,
as he
and
forces Nerigis off the track. Sheer aggression. The crowd goes wild.
And Ricky Lawrence, arm out the window, and Scotland stand proud as Ricky Lawrence finishes off the run. Give him a round of applause, Driftland. Wow.
Remember the name Ricky Lawrence. Woo.
Look at the aggression from Ricky Lawrence. Nerigis fires the
This is pro level stuff. You're missing it for the replay if you're watching at home. What about that? Inches away from them, and Nerigis just panics, bails out and into the dirt trap, into the kitty litter. You know what?
Wow.
I don't have the energy for this. I'm getting too old, you know.
We've still got
I'm almost 31 years of age. I just can't handle this anymore.
We've still got pro competition to go yet tomorrow, and yeah, I mean, things are hotting up already. And these guys, we're going to see these guys in action tomorrow in our pro competition. Look at this, Nerigis fires the car sideways, and Ricky Lawrence.
Look at the amount of ground that he can manage to gain after they transition. Door to door, wheel to wheel, pushes Nerigis around out into that second zone.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely
incredible stuff from both drivers. And as we say, we will have a monitor here at the track tomorrow so that all of you guys... Who's coming here tomorrow for the pro event? Yeah, where else would you be?
You wouldn't want to miss it. Sun's out tomorrow.
I think someone said asleep, yeah.
Asleep. So, judges wanting to see another angle of the replay.
And I'm wondering, well, look, obviously what they're looking at here, Ian, is to see was the contact sufficient that it caused Nerigis to bail off track.
Yeah.
In that case, the 10-0 would be going the other way.
So, here we go.
I mean, it doesn't appear to unsettle.
No, Nerigis very much keeps in it. It just looks like Nerigis...
And at this point, is there another bit of contact?
No,
it doesn't
not
look
from
as
this point
it
out.
No, it doesn't look as if the line deviates. I think
he keeps his foot on the throttle trying to get away from Ricky Lawrence, but just can't do it. Wow. Exciting stuff right now. And we await for a decision from our judges.
For a place in the final.
Who's going to take it to the final?
Or Ricky Lawrence, Kieran, David and Ben. Who's going through? It's Ricky Lawrence! Ricky Lawrence goes through to your final. We go back to the judges, pretty clear cut, but you had a look at the replay. Didn't appear to be any contact that caused Nerigis to go off track.
No, the first one was even enough, so it really comes back to the second one. We just looked to see. The thing was, if there was contact just coming up to 2, and if it was enough to push him slightly wide, he might have then missed his turning point and washed wide. But looking, and we've looked at it, we don't see any evidence of any heavy contact or enough to affect the lead car's line. So we just call it as we see it, and it was 4 wheels off 10-0.
So there you go. Ricky Lawrence finds himself a place in the final, and Nerry just moves to the 3rd and 4th place playoff. One more battle to go to decide who is going to face Ricky Lawrence. Will it be Andrew Earl? Will it be Callum Marshall? Well, Callum Marshall looks unstoppable, but Andrew Earl is on the one hell of a weekend right now, Eddie.
Yeah, look, I mean, both these drivers have looked unstoppable, unfazed by anything that's been put in their path. Marshall just taken down championship winner Lee Scott. He's going to be feeling the rush from that. Andy Earl, though, the higher qualifier, leads them in. He's done everything he needs to do so far today. He has been inch perfect, nailing that line. Look at this, side by side in.
Yeah, absolutely, door on door as Andrew Earl fires that car to the wall. Callum Marshall.
Oh, but
big
a straighten
error.
from Callum Marshall.
Big error from Callum Marshall.
And he shuts it down. Shuts it down. And Andy Earl drifts off into the distance, sends up the smoke screen, and Callum Marshall waves to the crowd. Guys, give him a round of applause. A valiant effort from Callum Marshall, but was it one trip too far for the Scotsman? And will that be it for him? Will it be a place in the 3rd, 4th place playoff for him? Will Andy Earl, who looks maybe just to be cooling down the car a little bit as they go back to the line, just taking a moment just to recompose himself, head back to the line once that car is cooled. Of course, temperature's soaring here today. And Callum Marshall calling a 5-minute rule. Snapped a shaft, we're hearing.
Wow, so Callum Marshall heads back to the pits to repair a drive shaft.
How disappointing, Ian, is that? I mean, having driven so well all day, and for something mechanical to go wrong where you were right in the mix, you were right in the competition, you were in the battle, you were putting it on the door and bringing the fight, and then all of a sudden something like that happens and you're facing a 10-0 disadvantage going into the second half of the battle. That's if, of course, you have the parts and you can get it fixed in time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got 5 minutes to get that drive shaft fixed. We know that the guys in his team will be down there trying to help him and trying to get that car back out to battle Andrew Earl in the second half of that battle, but Eddie not looking good.
No, certainly not, but with that gap gives us an opportunity to look forward to tomorrow just a little bit in, and of course, as we mentioned, tickets still available for £20 sterling on the gate. If you're nearby, even if it's a couple of hours away, you've got no excuse. Some of the best action, driving action, drifting action you're going to see in Europe, and it's all on your doorstep. Weather conditions promise to be just as good as they are today. Sun's out, guns out, you know, we have it all. The driving today has been phenomenal, Ian, and tomorrow it steps it up another notch for the pro main event.
Exactly, you guys that are here in attendance see our pros practicing earlier. Those guys really do lay it all on the line. And listen, if today's practice is anything to go by, their competition tomorrow is going to be even more extreme than what today is. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped for it. I can't wait. But more importantly, 6:30 tonight, we've got burnouts and team drifting on track here live. I'm pretty sure if you speak to Jeek, the track manager here, you can bring your car down and do a nice little burnout for the crowd and, you know, blaze some tyres.
I've already asked him. He's going to let me wreck my rental. And
cool.
If you're watching at home on live stream, you can see the guys down in the pits underneath the rear end of that E36 of Callum Marshall working frantically to try and beat that 5-minute clock. You can see our Marshall with the phone in the hand. 4 minutes left on the timer as they rush to try and just look at the team just all working together to try and to get it done. And of course, your innocent bystanders who are you know, just looking to get a bit of airtime,
giving a bit of motivation there, motivational speak. Don't forget, if you're in attendance or if you're popping along tomorrow, pop down to the merchandise stall. The British Drift Championship merchandise stall is here. We have Jess, Jordan and Amanda all in that shop selling some really cool stuff. Hooked me up earlier on, Eddie, with some lovely sunglasses because I didn't bring any.
You didn't bring any?
Foolishly, I didn't bring any, so they hooked me up some.
I'm going to leave
nice
mine
sunglasses
at home tomorrow, so that I get a new pair.
Yeah, that's just being cheeky. And yeah, listen, get down there, get some cool Drift Games clothing. Those guys, really friendly. They take card, so if you didn't bring any cash, no excuses. They'll take your bank card and take your monies for exchange for some clothing.
Yeah, look, some really, really cool lines there available. The Drift Games line, you have the British Drift Championship gear. The IDC gear, I think, is well on sale down there. The strut shades that you're rocking, some of the coolest shades in the business. £15, I think, in and around that sort of price range for the shades. Really, really cool and very affordable. I mean, look, If they can make you look cool, Ian, they can make anybody look cool.
Anyone can look cool if I can look cool, that's for sure. So as you can see, guys down there, a bit of hammer action. Looks like a bit of a Scottish John Shanahan style. That's what I'm going to call that, Scottish John Shanahan style. You can see Nutgun doing up the drive shaft bolts. Wheel back on, 2 minutes left to go. Can you guys here in attendance, do you think he's going to get it fixed in time? Yeah, there's support for you. There's some national support from...
I'm just going to say, Ian, that Ben Manuel has said there's absolutely no chance anyone can change that drive shaft in 5 minutes.
That's because he couldn't change a drive shaft in 5 minutes, and it's down and off the jacks.
So
Ladies and gentlemen.
So Ben
if you're
owes him a
looking
drink.
for someone to work on your car, do not call Ben Manuel.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Callum Marshall enters the circuit again, I want Driftland to hit him with a wall of sound. Driftland, make some noise for Callum Marshall and his crew. What a job.
That is what we like to see, beating the clock. He knows he's up against it, but you know what? Never say die in drifting. It's not over till it's over, and there's a space in the final for the winner of this one. Andy Earl's had a bit of time to think about this one. He hasn't put a foot wrong here today, Ian. Well, he's got 1 run to get himself into a final.
Yeah, listen, Andrew Earl's got 1 foot inside that final fight, but Callum Marshall is not going to go down without a fight. Can Callum Marshall overturn a 10-0 deficit? Well, we're about to find out, Eddie, as soon as we get Andrew Earl on that line. As Andrew Earl just putting his harnesses back on, he's going to warm his tyres and pull back up to the line. Callum Marshall, you know what? I wouldn't even want to know what sort of pressure he's feeling right now sitting in that car.
But you know what? I think there's no pressure now. There's no pressure. It's all or nothing, you know?
It's just do or die.
It's not even.
It's
you
do
go
or
out,
die, yeah.
you just nail your run, and you got to hope that he makes a mistake behind you.
Well, he's in the lead. He's in the lead position. Can he force Andrew Earl into an error? Can he force Andrew Earl to push his car too hard and fall off circuit? We're going to find out. It's Callum Marshall to take on Andrew Earl for a spot in the final.
And look at the aggression.
Wow.
Andy Earl throws it in behind. Can he make a clean pass in the circuit? Or can Callum Marshall send this to a one more time? But Andy Earl almost getting lost in the smoke. Showing a lot of sense here. Ian just staying back, keeping himself in the fight, but not trying to do anything too aggressive. And as they cross the line, Scotland hit them with a wall of sound. And you know what? Unfortunately for Callum Marshall, did everything he could there, but I think that is all she wrote. He will be back in for a top 3 playoff, or sorry, 3rd and 4th place playoff.
Yeah, we need to make it official first, Eddie. Callum Marshall on the left, Andrew Earl on the right. Let's make it official. Kieran, David and Ben go. Andrew Earl gets the win and goes to the final. That means we are going to see Callum Marshall in the 3rd and 4th place playoff against Nerigis.
We have 2 more battles remaining. Our 3rd and 4th playoffs, Nerigis and Callum Marshall. Ricky Lawrence and Andy Earl. It has been one heck of a day. We've enjoyed the action. Have you guys been enjoying the action that we've seen? Yeah, you have. One of the best crowds in the country. And that's why we love coming here to Driftland. This Scottish crowd always making some noise and loving their drifting here. And the sun is out. What more could we ask for in Scotland? 2 more battles remaining. Will it be Ricky Lawrence? I bet he's got a few fans in the audience. Will it be Andrew Earl?
So, yeah, we, as you say, Eddie, just waiting to get these guys all sorted out and ready to battle. And like we say, 3rd and 4th place playoff coming up first. It will be Nerigis to take on Callum Marshall.
And of course, tomorrow, if you are coming down, practice kicks off at 9 a.m. in the morning, with qualifying beginning at 11:30. So make sure and get yourself down here early, get your best viewing position, and join us for all the action live from 9 a.m. It promises to be one hell of a day. Driftland never disappoints.
No,
it hasn't disappointed today, and we know it's going to be even better tomorrow.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching online, 11:30 tomorrow morning for qualification. Up next, Callum Marshall, Nerigis, place the final step on the podium. Who's going to take it?
Guys, hit him with a wall of sound as they get ready to leave the line. They're going to feed off it. Is it going to be Marshall? Is it going to be Nerigis? Who's going to take the final step on the podium? We are about to find out. The final run of the day for these 2 drivers. Marshall to lead them in.
And look at this, a big jump off the line from Nerigis as Callum Marshall now shoots past him and fires in. Nerigis not scared, no stands on it. Can he catch up? As Callum Marshall looks like he's absolutely flying. Nerigis hasn't got the pace in that car.
No, just doesn't have an answer for it, Ian, and he just can't catch up. He's playing second fiddle here to Callum Marshall, who looks to be taking home the win. It's only the first half of the battle, but look at this, they crossed the line. A straighten from Nerigis, guys, make some noise for both drivers. Advantage, Callum Marshall.
Certainly is, Eddie, as we get those guys back to the line and turn back around. It will be Callum Marshall's opportunity now to chase down Nerigis. We get the thumbs up from our start line, Marshall. Those guys are good to go. You guys here at Driftland ready to go? Come on, Driftland, I need some more noise than that. You guys ready to see the third and fourth place playoff? That's
there
more like
we
it.
go.
Here we go. It's going to be Nerigis to leading Callum Marshall for the final step on the podium. Nerigis big clutch kick, and look at Callum Marshall right with him though as he fires it in, Eddie.
Yeah.
Callum Marshall now starts to make the dive on the door.
Marshall throws on big angle just to slow that car down, but tucks in right into the pocket as they come down into the hairpin. Oh! Big off from Nerigis.
Wow!
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, as Callum Marshall takes it over the line, hit him with a wall of sound. Wow.
And I think that pretty much confirms our third place finisher.
How did Nerigis look? That's such a precarious place that he has ended up in that car. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a car end up in that position over there, but it looks as though able to reverse.
He goes too wide and gets on the marbles again, and then the car just loses grip. Look at that, it locks the front wheel up and just pops up.
Boom.
And parks right there.
But he appears to have recovered that vehicle on his own back.
Yep.
And heads back
Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Nerigis there, putting his car almost on its roof for your entertainment. We need to make it official. We are going to be telling you who is going to be taking the final step on the podium.
As both drivers congratulate each other and talk about the battle, guys, give them one final round of applause.
Yep, and the judge's decision falls in. Taking home the third place trophy this weekend here will be Callum Marshall, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Callum Marshall rounds off the podium.
And of course, a round of applause for your fourth place finisher, Nerigis. A phenomenal showing that he put in today and really pushed hard. You certainly can't say they didn't give it everything all the way throughout the competition. So, Ian, then there was two.
Yeah, two left, two to go. Scotland versus Ireland. Ricky Lawrence, Driftland TV, to take on Andy Earl.
I mean, if you had told either of these two drivers that this is where they would be come 5:30, 5:45 at the end of the day,
they wouldn't have believed you.
They wouldn't have
believed you.
But here we are. Now, before we send them, it's the final run of the day, and as they get ready to warm their tyres and approach the line, we want to see every single one of you here in attendance on your feet for the final two runs of the circuit. Come on, get up and make some noise. Let them hear you down at the start line. These two guys have never seen a final before. Show your appreciation. Hands out of the pockets. Hit them with a cheer. We need some atmosphere for our final. Driftland, are you ready for your final?
No, that's not good enough, Eddie. That's not good enough.
It's good, Ian, but it's just not good enough for a final. It's not good enough for what these guys have produced today. They have been flawless.
Everybody outside the Driftland shop, everybody to my and Eddie's right, everybody stand on the bank. Raise the roof for your finalists. Come on, Driftland, make some noise. That's what I'm talking about, Eddie. That's what I'm talking about. You guys ready to go?
Oh, come on.
All that hype and they died straight away.
If you guys around the bank in your cars can hear us, let's hear your horns. We want a party atmosphere here in Driftland. The final battle of the day, but we are not done. We're here till 9:30 this evening. It is two drivers ready to go. Lawrence versus Earl. Who is going to take the top spot on the podium? Here we go. Ricky Lawrence getting ready to lead the line and take it through the chicane. Can Andy Earl take his first ever victory in the British Drift Championship? Side by side down the straight. Oh!
Wow!
Almost contact on the straight.
Whoa!
Andy Earl backs out of it, but gets it back in online.
Ricky Lawrence looks dominant. Look at this from Ricky Lawrence. Absolutely standing in it. Andrew Earl, huge error now, starts to get himself back in the fight, but Andrew Earl almost making contact again with Lawrence as Lawrence fires it. Straightened from Andrew Earl.
Yeah, I know. Is that a tyre off the rim from something popped at the rear end of Andrew Earl's car and sent it into an almost spin? Very unfortunate there. A lot going on in that one, Ian.
Unbelievable.
Look at the entry here.
Look at the aggression from Andrew Earl on initiation. This is phenomenal. How he tapped in. Look at that. Almost bumper on bumper. And yeah, almost over rotation from Andy Earl. We threw that car in with so much speed. He had to put it on big lock and slow the car back down again. But yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Ricky Lawrence, though, out front, looking strong, Eddie.
Yeah, really nice line from Ricky Lawrence, and just
another
there
error
you just see
again,
another area, and almost spinning, almost over-rotating there from Andrew Earl, but just about holds it together. This one hangs in the balance, Ian, but you got to say advantage to the Driftland TV driver as judges looking for another replay. We go back to a second replay just to have a quick look at the start, and I'm just wondering if the judges, judges obviously trying to see if there's any infringement here by either driver causing an upset to the line of the other driver.
Yeah, judges basically looking to see, did Andrew Earl's position on track impede the initiation of Andrew Earl, but
or of Ricky Lawrence.
Ricky Lawrence, sorry. Getting so hyped up.
Yeah.
So hyped up. So, well, it looks like we're ready to go for the final runner of the day. Those guys are pumped.
They're ready to leave the line. Driftland, one last cheer. The final run of the day. Lawrence versus Earl. Scotland versus Ireland. Here we go.
Andrew Earl fires it in. Nice initiation this time. Ricky Lawrence gives him some room. But now Ricky Lawrence starts to gain some lost ground. Can he get on the door as Andrew Earl stands on the accelerator, starts to pull away? They slow down to the hairpin.
Yeah, Lawrence dialing a lot of angle into his run here, and it's slowed him down, but Andrew Earl starts to make a few errors, dropping wheels off circuit, and I'm wondering does the occasion maybe got to him, but pulls a big gap across the line. Ian, I don't know which way this is going.
No, I don't know what way it's going to go either, Eddie. Very, very close full battle from both of these guys. Judges, hands in their head, trying to come to a decision, deliberating this one. It's for the first and second place on the podium. We're going to wait to see if we have a decision. Obviously, we won't give it away just yet. I will be jumping down to the podium.
So they're really discussed it, and the all-important question is do they have a decision, or will they be going one more time? So, who thinks Ricky Lawrence took the win? Who thinks Andrew Earl took the win? Who wants to see them go one more time? There we go.
Ricky Lawrence, arm out the window. He's looking for a one more time. Ricky Lawrence is pumped. He wants to go again.
Yeah, these guys don't want to finish here. They have had a phenomenal day. We've enjoyed it. It's been awesome here in Driftland, as it always is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it always creates such a good atmosphere. You guys in attendance make that atmosphere. And I am pumped for tomorrow's action. So pumped. But right now, we need to finish off our Pro-Am competition. We're just taking a look to our judges. Do we have a decision?
David Egan is, still discussing it, we're hearing.
Yeah, writing notes
Writing
and
some
everything.
notes, yeah. Some love notes.
Some love notes.
So, I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure.
If
Maybe
you were a judge, what way would you be calling it right now?
I'm not even going to get into it.
You're not getting into it,
I'm
no?
not getting into it.
Too many angry Scots and angry Irishmen that you can offend.
I got a hotel room to go back to tonight, and it's Scottish, and I work with Irish people, and could cause all sorts of problems for me, Eddie. So I'm not getting into it, that one.
Well, while we have a moment, we're going to take a quick opportunity just to thank our sponsors who have been here this weekend. AM Details, Brian James Trailers, Cosmos Racing, Funk Motorsport, Jap Speed, JDM Distro, Link ECU, Monster Energy, M-Tech Brakes, Samco Sport, Simpson Race Products, VP Racing Fuels, and Zestino Tires. Judges still discussing this one, Ian.
Yeah, still discussing this one. And like we keep saying, if you guys are watching at home and thinking, I want a piece of the action, 6:30 tonight, which is it now? No, half an hour's time. Get yourself down here to Driftland. Tickets on the gate. Come in. We've got team drift competitions going on and some fun. We've got the bar open. We've got some burnouts going on. Apparently there's some fireworks. I'm being told all sorts of stuff here. And tomorrow...
We want to see a turnout for the burnout.
Exactly.
There you
and
go.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Tickets on the gate, £20. Get in, do not miss pro competition. It is going to be heated. Some guys going head to head. Dave Egan, do we have a decision
after a lot of deliberation, and it's a close one, we do have a decision.
We do have a decision, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to be heading down to the podium. Eddie, it's been a pleasure. I'll be back tomorrow with you in the tower for pro competition.
Yeah, Ian, we'll talk to you in just a moment, but as you say, back tomorrow from 9 a.m. for the pro competition. We will see our final 4 drivers in that competition, and they have had a phenomenal day today and an awesome opportunity that they have ahead of themselves to compete in the main show tomorrow. Qualifying will start from 11:30 a.m. We will have practice live on track from 9 a.m. So get here bright and early, get to your best viewing position, and just enjoy the action. Weather again promised to be similar to today, which was sunny and beautiful outside. We want to thank all of you guys in attendance. We hope we're going to see you here again tomorrow. You've been an awesome crowd, and we certainly hope that you will be joining us back tomorrow for the main event, and no doubt we will have an even bigger crowd here in Driftland for the main show. Once again, big thank you to all the sponsors here this week and of course this year. A lot of people coming on board to help out the BDC, and without their help, none of this would be possible. AM Details, Brian James Trailers, Cosmos Racing, Funk Motorsport, Jap Speed, JDM Distro, Link ECU, Monster Energy, M-Tech Brakes, Samco Sports, Simpson Race Products, VP Racing Fuels, Zestino Tires, and of course the guys behind the live stream, Martin and his team at See It Live, who bring all the action to you, put on a fabulous display so that you guys at home can watch this all around the world. We are just about ready to go to our podium, so with that I will hand you over to Ian, and thank you all once again for joining us here at round 3 of the British Drift Championship. Just hearing that he's waiting on his microphone, so you're stuck with me for just a moment or two more. As they get ready for the podium, guys, can you just give one more round of applause as they get out of their cars and have a little bit of a discussion to our final 4 drivers. What a show they have put on all day today. And with that, we are ready to hand over to Ian and the podium ceremony.
Thanks, Eddie. I'm down here at the podium. And like you just said, these guys have put on a phenomenal drive. We're taking 3rd step on the podium with a phenomenal drive. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Callum Marshall! That means there's one more decision to be made. And like the judges said, a very, very close call. Taking 2nd step on the podium is Andrew Hall! That means your round 3 Pro-Am winner is Ricky Lawrence! Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back 11:30 tomorrow with Pro-Am qualifying. From me, Eddie, Dave, and everyone in the tower, we'll catch you tomorrow. Have a safe night.
So just to remind everybody, we are having a bit of craziness on track for the next 3 hours. We're having team drift, we're having burnout competitions. We're going a little bit crazy with the time we have. We're having a late night session here in Driftland, so don't go anywhere. The action heats up in just a few moments' time. And once again, guys, give it up for your 3 finalists here at round 3 in Driftland. And your winner, Ricky Lawrence.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now.
I've been using VP racing fuel for years, basically ever since I built my first race car, and you want to get that consistent fuel.
So this announcement, if you want to drive tonight, if you want to drive tonight here at Driftland, if you're here in attendance in the Pro-Am class or the Pro class, make your way to the Driftland office
so many
now if you want to go shred some tires, have some fun on track. Head to the Driftland office now as we are continuing the action late tonight.
In all my cars outside of
So make your way over to the Driftland office. If you got a car, if you got some tires, you're going to have some fun here tonight at Driftland. We're kind of taking the gloves off and having some fun. We're going to go live on track very shortly, so make your way to the Driftland office to sign on if you want to take part.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
There's a reason that half the paddock, if not more here, runs Samco hose, and that's that nobody wants to be let down by a split water hose or a split boost hose. And with Samco, there's nothing to worry about.
With using these hoses, we get the reliability, they never burst, we can just rely on them, and that's all we need.
Half of the grid are running Semco hoses in their cars, and there's a reason for that. They're the best in the business.
I'm so happy to be running Samco hoses now, because in the past we have run other manufacturers' hoses and we have had the intercooler pipes collapsing, which obviously when you're under massive pressure on track, you have to be fully supportive and reliant on your hoses.
So a lot of people ask us over the years, you know, what hoses you run. Personally, I can't think of anything better than Samco. They do what they say on the tin, they work, they don't come loose, they don't fail on you, they don't pop. You can't beat Samco.